they act like black people need their help to succeed. So are you just saying you're better than black people so they can't succeed without you? Like, come on, make that make sense. And like, oh, yesterday my stuff got shut down, but I'm back because I don't know, probably someone reported me. But why are y'all white liberals so racist? Like, what are y'all? What is the problem? Why are y'all so racist? I never understood why y'all so racist. And then y'all say the people on the right are racist. I'm like, how is the Republican in the right racist? What are they doing racist? They're doing, oh, they said they don't believe in affirmative action, so they don't believe in race-based hiring practices. That's not racist though. They believe that black people could succeed without a little help. I believe that too. Like, why do y'all believe that the conservatives are the racists when all the stuff that y'all do? When you disagree with a white liberal, they start calling you the N-word. When you disagree with a conservative, they try to explain to you why they believe you're wrong, or they can't. They just say, you know what, I can't, and then just walk away. But white liberals, all the most racist stuff I get on TikTok is from white liberals calling me N-word this, N-word that, coon this, coon that. Oh, you're Uncle Tom. And I'm like, why? Because I disagree with you. Oh, that's why you're calling me something because I disagree. Why, when you disagree with a white liberal, they always have something racist to say, but they always try to tell you that, oh, the Republicans, the conservatives are racist. When you disagree with a white liberal, oh, you're carrying water for the Republicans. But wouldn't I be carrying water for you if I agreed with you? Oh, so it's okay to agree with white liberals, but not black liberals. That don't seem strange to y'all? Like, come on, that don't seem strange to nobody. Like, for some reason, they want to paint the Republican Party as racist. And all the stuff they just say, oh, have you heard what they did on the news? And you're like, what did they do? Oh, you're not watching the news? And like, what are you talking about? Oh my goodness, Trump is erasing y'all history. I'm like, how is Trump erasing African American history or black history? He's like, oh, you don't watch the news. They never explain why they say that. They just say something. You question them, and then they try to say, oh my goodness, you're uneducated, you're stupid, you don't watch the news. And I'm like, wait. So you don't have no proof of this, but you're gonna continue saying it, and just because you believe yourself to be right. And if I disagree with you, you're gonna just like say, oh, I don't know better, I'm uneducated, I don't watch the news. Like, come on. This never made sense to me, this argument that they use that, oh, like, if you don't agree with white liberals, then you're carrying water for Republicans. But it's not that a black person can make up their own mind and come to their own conclusion that the conservatives are better for them than the liberals. It's no, oh, you're a grifter, you're carrying water for them, oh, they got you brainwashed. I'm like, there's no point. There's no point to talking to white liberals because they believe that if you don't agree with them, there's something wrong with you. It's not that their policies are bad. It's that there is something wrong with you if you don't agree with them. And I'm like, y'all have horrible policies. Like, y'all have horrible policies. And the one about the job, like they said, hey, they said, oh, they have racist hiring practice because of a job. And I'm like, how come y'all never like question the study? Like, how many people did they go to, like, how many businesses did they send these jobs to? And did they send the white ones first and the black ones second? Like, and if you send like all the resumes the same, sooner or later the person that is doing the hiring is like, wait, why are all these resumes the same? And that's gonna like make them not want to hire you. And then you're trying to say, okay, we're gonna change them up. Let's say you say one white, one black, but you say one went to Harvard, one went to Princeton. What if the dude is from Princeton? Of course, he's gonna give the person from Princeton a hookup versus the person from Harvard. Like, come on now. There is many different factors that no one ever questioned about this. LOL, bruh, cut it out. LOL. See, this is all they say. They just say, oh, they just try to laugh at you like you're doing something wrong, but they never explain why you're wrong. They're like, oh, you're wrong, bro. You're wrong. Do your research. You're wrong. You Google it. And you're like, explain yourself. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Like, this is all the liberals do. Like, when you question liberals and try to get them to give the details of their statement they say, it's always something stupid. It's always something, well, it means this, and this. I'm like, huh? How did you get that from this? Oh, you're not educated. You don't understand. I'm like, okay. That's your thing. When someone disagrees with you, oh, they're uneducated. Really? When someone disagrees with you because you're a liberal and apparently liberals know better, they're uneducated. I'm like, okay. Really? That's all you're gonna do? Like, come on. They try to say Trump is racist. I'm like, how was Trump racist? Oh, the Central Park Five. I'm like, the Central Park Five admitted to being guilty of it. At that time, the Central Park Five said they were guilty, and everybody was just going based off that. They admitted to doing this heinous crime. So why wouldn't you say something about it? Why wouldn't you like, hey, yo, these people are evil for doing this heinous crime? And then a little while later, they said they didn't do it. Trump had several documented cases of being racist. Like what? Like all these times y'all say he has several documented cases of being racist, and then when y'all try to question it and get them to explain, they change subject. From Central Park Friday, they're gonna do what is it? The housing stuff. I'm like, okay, was Trump the one denying the housing? No, it was his business. So Trump wasn't the one doing the housing. So he hired some bad people. Yeah, just like in his first administration, we hired bad people, and then he didn't hire those same people in his second administration. They say, oh, but he settled out of court. Was there a judge ruling, or did he settle out of court? I'm not 100% sure on that one. Whoa, the excuses. What excuses? What excuses am I doing? See, this is what they do. They just say the excuses. Oh, you're carrying wire for them. Like, come on, man. Stay delusional, my friend. Because I disagree with you, I'm delusional. Y'all gotta make that make sense to me. Nico Bailey, is that you?
That is me.
What's up?
Hey, I was just saying because I'm the one who said the excuses.
What excuses am I giving?
Well, your first excuse was, oh, it was somebody else. It wasn't Trump, but it was actually him and his father and his company.
So
that
Trump
was
himself
actually,
was getting the documents from
yes,
so Trump was going over those
yes.
documents.
No, he was part of the legislation. His name, his father's name, and his
Was
corporation was on the
Trump? So you
legislation.
saying that you're talking about the one where they're denying housing to black people, right?
That is correct, sir.
Was Trump going through the paperwork himself?
No, probably not.
Because didn't Trump give
So
Nelson
wait a
Mandela a
minute.
plane
So
to fly
wait.
over
So
here?
can I ask you a
Didn't Trump
question?
give housing to a
So wait a
black
minute.
woman
Can
one
I ask
time
you
in
a
like the
question?
80s, I believe?
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, ask me a
So if
question.
a crime boss, so if a crime boss does some, or his minions does something, does that mean the crime boss didn't do it?
What you mean?
That he didn't order that to happen? So a mob boss,
There's more to
okay,
it than that
they're ordering the
because
mob boss, they're ordering them to go out and get protection money. Okay, so does they come back and the people who went out and got protection money, they got arrested? So are you saying that, oh, somehow the mob boss is not involved in that?
okay, if the boss say, "Hey, go and get protection money," right? And he just and then the person goes around and starts stabbing the person. Is the crime boss responsible for him just going around stabbing the person, or just going around for collecting the money?
Great. So you're not going to answer the question. You're going to
No,
make
I'm
some
answering your question.
excuse about it.
No, you're trying to say he's
You
responsible.
didn't answer the question.
Okay, my bad. I'm answering the
specifically
question
said
like,
that,
no,
and then
he's
you
not
went to
directly
a-
responsible for
and then you
everything
went
that
to
that person
stabbing.
does. He's
So
not directly responsible for everything that person does. Does that answer your question?
is he responsible? Is the person in charge the one ultimately responsible?
Responsible for what though? That's like you're saying responsible for everything
The
that person
actions of his
does.
company. The actions of his company.
So you telling me if someone owns a company and someone does something like bad in the company, the boss is responsible for everything, even though the boss owns several different companies, and he's not always like in the nitty gritty of each individual company. He's having people manage that stuff for
So
him.
if a
You're
corporation
telling me that
is
he's
sued,
responsible for everything. Is Jeff
great.
Bezos responsible for when an Amazon driver crashes the truck?
No, because they have insurance, they're responsible. But if Jeff Bezos decided that they were going to have, or that their company has discrimination practices, then yes, the corporation and Jeff Bezos is responsible for their discrimination practices because he is ultimately responsible.
I got a question. At that same time, did black banks deny loans to black people at the same time at a higher rate?
Yes, because one, that they had to, because they were smaller banks, there was fewer number of banks, and because there was
And
they
giving
have
those
to
loans
do
to
the same,
those loans to them was a higher risk, right?
because those loans were federally backed, so because of those rules that was already established, they had to.
So those black banks were racist, or was
Those
it,
black
or was
banks
it,
were
or
those
was it,
black
or
banks
was
were following the black banks was following the guidelines set by the federal government,
so
which
the federal
forced them to
government
do
said
those
don't
things.
give the loans to black people, or did
Yes, that's what redlining was. That
red
was
wait,
redlining.
redlining? What are you talking about redlining? Isn't that like
Yes.
we talking about like you can't live in a
Do
particular
you not know what
area?
redlining is?
Isn't that,
Wait a
which one is
minute.
that?
Yes.
Redlining is where you can't live in a
Redlining is
particular
where
area, right?
they force people, yes, they force people to be in only certain areas. They wouldn't give loans for them to be in other areas.
But they
You
got
could only
denied
get
at
a
a higher
loan in
rate.
a
It wasn't just
specific,
loans for daggone housing.
because they were a smaller group. Do you understand? The
Do
banks were a
do their
smaller
credit
group.
history and the amount of money that they have a factor in it at all, or is it just based on race?
At that time with redlining, it was based on race.
So the other factors, so factors about income and stuff like that, didn't really matter.
Nope, I didn't say that. I said
I'm
at that
asking
time.
you. I'm asking. I'm not
Then
saying you
yeah,
did. So
then
does
no.
that matter? Those didn't matter.
Sure, I'm sure it matters.
So you're this is what I'm thinking. Maybe you're racist and you just think because you think in a
Sure.
racist way, other people think in that same racist way.
Or because there's actually proof of redlining happening, because there's actual documentation of redlining happening. That is why I can say
So
these things, because
so
those
you're
are
trying to
the
tell me the
actual
black
proof and
banks were racist
documentation.
also.
No, yet again, I said that because those black banks still had to follow federal guidelines in order
And the
for their
federal
loans to be matched,
and it was
and those
just the
federal guidelines was part of redlining that forced those banks to say, yes, I have to deny your loan.
I'm just gonna look up this
And it's
redlining
a
stuff.
pretty simple thing.
They, it was definitely they didn't care. Even if you had a high income, they would still devalue your property or devalue your area because there was black people there.
Just because there's black people there to value it and nothing else. And why would you sell your
Yes,
why
that's
no stop. Why would you sell it at a lower thing then? It's still your choice to sell at that, right?
No,
It's not your
no,
choice to sell it
they
at a
would
particular thing.
no, they would devalue the property, sir. The property evaluators would devalue your district because there were black people there.
I'm
And I
trying to
have a
read.
map actually.
Oh, map of what? I'm trying to read. I'm trying to do some reading record about this particular redlining thing because it's not because what I've heard from it and what he's trying to explain doesn't seem like it's lining up exactly.
I mean, there's maps online that you can look at of every major city in America where they clearly show you like the property. They wouldn't care that that you were black and you had a lot of money. They would still, you could only buy it in certain areas because you were black or a minority.
Okay, and that was you saying Trump was involved in that redlining stuff? When did Trump start doing it?
no.
Wait, what?
No one said Trump was involved. You asked me about. You're the one who brought up
Yeah,
redlining,
I'm saying
or
at that time when Trump was doing this denying the loans, as you say Trump was denying the loans. I'm saying it wasn't directly Trump. It was people that worked under him, and he hired bad people. And you're trying to say, oh, this was directly
that,
Trump, right?
no, I didn't. No, I didn't say, sir. I said Trump as far as their company, and they are actually responsible, meaning that they are part of that process, meaning that when a corporation does something, that does still go all the way up to the top when they have a system in place of doing a certain thing. You think that that manager of that just did it all on their own without any prompting from anyone. They just
So
decided one day
so
it's
you're
not
telling
their
me that
business.
Trump told them to do
Wait a minute,
this?
let me finish the say.
No, I'm
Let
not
me
trying. I'm
finish the
trying to
say.
get. You're
So
making. You're
you
saying a lot of stuff.
decide.
I'm
So
trying to get
you're saying,
clarification.
great. So you're saying that this manager, whoever it was, and it's not his business, it's not his corporation, he decided on his own to discriminate against people.
Is he not able to do that? Can he not, if he's the one is Trump over his shoulder making sure he does things correctly, or is Trump worried about other stuff at the same time?
Or if you have a corporation, don't you put have guidelines of what you're supposed to be looking for when
So
hiring
you
someone?
got a
what
copy
you're
of the
supposed to be
guidelines where
doing?
Trump said
So
don't give these loans to black people.
then, do you have a copy of guideline where he says do this or don't do this?
You're making the statement that he did do that. You're
But
saying
he's
that
I'm
Trump
making
is
the
giving the
assumption
guidelines to
that
do this, right? Are you telling me
I'm
that
making
Trump
the
is?
assumption.
Are you saying that Trump is giving the guidelines to do
I'm
this?
making the assumption that the DOJ has proof because of what they've done as far as when they went in with multiple people, when they did these things, as far as there is a white couple that went in and they applied for that application and they said they have availability. When a black couple came in and they said they don't have
And you're trying to say
availability,
Trump
and they
was
put a
directly involved in this.
no, I didn't say that. I said that he is responsible, that his corporation is responsible, that everything that happens goes up.
So if someone crashes an Amazon truck, Jeff Bezos is directly responsible for that?
And I already answered that
So no. So
question.
what
I
was your
said
answer?
no. I
So
said
so
no
you say
because
no.
Jeff Bezos isn't writing the truck. But if Jeff
So
Bezos
Trump is
put
in the office with
if
them.
Jeff Bezos put in racist policies
So
or
Trump
policies
implemented the
that
racist policies.
if it great, yes. Sure, if you can't understand.
How did Trump implement? What did Trump do? He made a document, a statement, or
The
anything?
DOJ said it. Yes, the DOJ told him. The DOJ had the proof that he did it.
What you mean? The DOJ had to prove that Trump did it, or the company, the people that was working there did it?
Trump, his father Fred, and the corporation were all responsible.
They're responsible because they own the company. They're not the ones that was like writing off on the loans, were
And
they?
then who put in the policies? Who put in the directives?
So okay,
Who
you
put
said
in the
Trump put in the
policies?
policies. Do you got a copy of
Who
these
put in
policies
the
where Trump is
policies?
saying
I'm
this?
asking you. I'm asking you who put in the policies for their or renting out their apartments. Who put in that policy?
Show me where Trump said that.
I'm asking you who did
You're
it,
the one
sir.
that's saying he did it, right? You're saying he
I
did it,
said
right?
that they're responsible. I
You're
said
saying
that they're
okay. You're saying he's
responsible.
responsible,
I
but
didn't
you're
say
not
that they
saying he
put
did it.
everything in there. I said that they're responsible.
Well, he didn't promote diversity,
What you
right?
mean he
So
didn't
if
promote diversity? What you mean by that?
he didn't advocate for rental of all people. Like he didn't,
What did he have? He
well,
said only give it to white people.
I mean, their company was found to be not to be discriminating. So you're saying that, well, we don't know, but he didn't say, there's nowhere where it said that he was promoting, equality. And if they're doing it and managers doing it, then I mean, you can't say they're promoting equality in terms of who they're renting to.
So
So
you're telling me.
your
So you're saying
suggestion is
because
that
he didn't.
Trump
You're
doesn't.
saying that Trump didn't promote equality, so he promote the opposite of it.
Yes.
So are you
So you,
suggesting that
do you have a
that
thing that
no
said
white-
where Trump is saying don't give housing to these people, or Trump say only give housing to these particular group of people, or just saying because of the results of the court case?
I mean, yeah, that's the evidence that they provided in the court case, saying that that their business was discriminating against people. So you can't. I mean,
And I
you
got,
can say
I
he
got another
wasn't.
question. I got another question. Was Trump like found guilty of doing this, or did he settle out of court?
No, he settled.
So he was never found guilty of doing this. He just settled out of court. Okay. So I'm just making sure we establish that, right? But you're saying that Trump
Does
gave
that
a
mean that he
directive
didn't-
out there
wait a minute.
for
Does
them
that
to
mean that
only give
wait a
housing
minute.
to white people.
Wait a minute. Does that mean that the racism didn't exist because he settled out of court? Is that what you're saying?
You never said. You told me that Trump was racist and because of this, and you didn't. And you said that Trump is the
Yes,
one that told
my
him to do this.
question was-
And I'm like, what is your
and
source
my-
that said that Trump told him to
Sir,
do this?
The DOJ sued him, his father, and the corporation. That's my proof. My
Because they
question
own
to
the
you was-
company.
Yes, because they're responsible.
They
My
weren't
question
the
for
one
you
that was going there in the
right,
office saying, "This is
he's
what you're
still
gonna
responsible.
do."
Yes, they're still responsible. My question for
Okay,
you was:
they're responsible because they own the
simply,
company.
can I
Were
ask-
they the ones that
can
were
I ask
doing
my
it?
question? Great. Yes,
Right.
he was responsible. Great.
I'm saying
So
were
here's
they
my
the one?
question
I
for
said
you.
not responsible. I said
Because
were
he
they the ones that
settled-
was doing it?
Because according to you, because he settled, does that mean that the racism didn't exist?
I'm not saying that the racism didn't exist. I'm trying to say how are you? You're trying to say this is racism of Trump, not racism of the
Because
people that
it's
was
him,
denying
his father,
it.
and
You're
his
saying this was
corporation, sir.
racism of Trump, right? You're saying this was
I
Trump's
said because,
racism.
yes, it's him, his father, and his corporation that did
so
it.
what is your tying? How you're only tying this to Trump because he owned the company, right?
So I'm gonna read from the case.
What responsibility means.
Bro, so what said? Was it hot to Elijah?
I'm just gonna read the summary of basically what it is, and then that's it.
Go ahead.
So Trump and his father fiercely fought a discrimination lawsuit in '73 for alleged refusal to rent properties in predominantly white buildings to black tenants. Testimony showed that the applications filed by black apartment seekers were marked with a C for colored. A settlement that ended the lawsuit did not require Trump to explicitly acknowledge the discrimination had ordered, but the government's description of the settlement said Trump and his father had failed and neglected to comply with the Fair Housing Act.
Because they own the company.
Oh my!
Because it was like it was Trump's management, right? That was doing the stuff, or was it Trump himself?
It was Trump's managers, but the managers, you're their boss. So if they're discriminating and they can say that they didn't know anything.
Okay.
But
If he has multiple companies, multiple businesses going on, multiple stuff, and if one part of his company is doing something effed up and he doesn't know of it and don't correct it in time, is he directly responsible for it? But if he gets sued, settled out of court, and then corrects it, is that not what he should do?
no,
Or is
they
he
said
racist
Trump-
no matter what?
No, they said Trump and his father specifically failed and neglected to comply. So that's ultimately their fault.
Because they own the business. It was their company.
Because they knew about
they're
it.
responsible
Because
for
they
how the
were-
business is
knew
ran.
of it.
He knew about it.
Yes, that is what they did. That's what he just read.
That's not what they said.
That's what he just read.
It's their business, or they're
No,
responsible for
he
how their
didn't
business
read
is
that.
run.
He didn't read that. Trump knew about what was going on. He said that they settled out of court, and the DOJ said that they had enough evidence to say they were guilty, but they settled out of court. Right? Or am I wrong?
They failed. Trump and his father failed and neglected to comply with the Fair Housing Act.
Okay, but they have multiple other businesses that they're taking care of, right?
That doesn't matter.
That doesn't
So
matter.
so you're telling me
compliance.
so if you don't know everything that's going on in your business and you get sued, are you not you're responsible for it, right?
Yes, you're
But if you
responsible
don't know
because it's
but if you don't
compliance.
know what's going on, does that mean you're the one that was making them do such acts?
If they're doing it, I mean, you can say that they didn't know, but it's their business, so it's your job to know.
Yeah, but he didn't. Mistakes were made. Problems
That's
occurred.
cool.
Okay, but how? But I'm
See,
not.
that's your
But Trump
excuse
was
right there.
no. My thing is
Yes,
Trump.
you did. You just said the excuse that he didn't know. He read you the documentation that they
And the
weren't
documentation
compliant.
didn't say that he knew. It just said that they
He
weren't
said that
compliant
they
because
weren't
they were the
complying.
one that owned the business.
What
It
does
didn't.
not complying mean?
Oh my goodness.
If
What
they
does not
have to,
complying
if they
mean?
have to say that they're C on the paperwork, I mean that opens
So
you up
Trump
to
was writing
dispute.
the C and the 9 on the paperwork. I think it's 9. C
No.
and 9. Was
It
Trump
says
was writing this?
testimony showed they had to when you were black and you had to file the application, they had to put it said, okay, I'll just read it. Testimony showed the applications filed by black apartment seekers were marked with C for colored. It doesn't say who said that. I'm not reading the actual lawsuit. I'm reading an article about it. It says their applications were marked with a C for color.
Yes, but did Trump put out the memo to do that?
It's their business. I mean, who knows?
So you don't see the problem with that?
Again, you're saying that they're not. I mean, you can say Trump didn't know, but it's their business. It's Trump and his dad, so they just don't know what's going on in their own business. I mean,
Yes, they own. Do they not own multiple businesses?
that doesn't they know what's going on in their businesses.
So
They
you're
know.
telling me
Here's my
you're
question.
telling me
I have
if
a
one
question. I have a
Amazon
question.
warehouse, if you're telling me if
you have
one
multiple
Amazon
businesses-
warehouse is
if
having
you have
racist
multiple
hiring practice,
businesses-
that Jeff Bezos directly responsible for that one Amazon warehouse that's having racist hiring practice?
But this is a
Yeah.
rental property. This is not a
So-
massive
so-
corporation like
So
that.
you tell me that if one, no, I'm saying if people have in a business, right, you're not directly involved in every aspect of that business. Yeah, yes, you have to take the blame for the stuff that happened in there. But if you're not the ones doing it, you can't say, oh, that person is the racist also because he was doing that,
How
so
do
I'm
you
gonna
know
do
he's
that.
not doing it, sir?
Huh?
How do you know he didn't do it? How
Because
do you
y'all
know
haven't
he
gave
didn't
me
do it?
y'all haven't given me any shred of
Whoa,
evidence
but
that
you
he was
just gave
doing
the
this.
excuse. We gave you the information that he didn't
did the
comply with
information-
the order. He
Yeah.
didn't comply with the housing
Because
act.
he's responsible for the
great.
business.
That you
You
making
didn't
the
give me.
excuse.
Oh my goodness.
So you're making an excuse that he has multiple businesses, that somehow that just because he has multiple businesses, he is not responsible for complying with every aspects of multiple businesses. If you have a multiple business, you're still responsible for complying for each business that is out there. You have a compliance officer that is supposed to actually make sure that your business is running at that level.
Do you not hear what you're saying? You're saying that he hires
Do you
people to
not
make
hear-
sure. You're saying that he hires people to make sure this stuff happens, right? Is that not what you're saying? You say that there's a compliance officer.
No, sir, that's not what I'm saying.
Then what do you
You're the
mean?
one
Then
who's
what,
saying
when
that
you
he
bring up the
didn't have-
compliance officer, what do you mean by that?
I'm saying currently, right now, in 2025, that nowadays that there are actually people that are compliance officers. Back in the 70s, they didn't have compliance officers. They didn't have people specifically designed to make
Okay.
sure that your
Okay,
corporations
so-
were in compliance.
So if something falls past the compliance officer, or something effed up is happening, is the person that owns the business directly responsible for that?
Yes, he will still be responsible.
So, but is he the one that actually made them do it?
Who knows?
You if you're the one that's saying Trump is responsible for it, Trump is like, but he's only responsible for it because he owns the business. It's not that he'll say,
Not
hey yo,
necessarily.
put a C on the application. Did Trump himself say put a C on the application?
So a
Did he give out
manager, a
directive
low-level
to
manager made that decision by himself. Did a low-level manager make that decision by himself?
do people act independently from time to time? Or are people
No.
robots? You're
They
saying like
can't.
people are robots and
This
they
is
do
a business.
exactly what's supposed to be
People are
done
robots
and they
when
don't
it
act
comes to their
independently at
corporate
any time.
businesses. Yes, people who are robots when it comes to corporation businesses, and as far as guidelines of what you're supposed to do, are there variations or exceptions to some rules that there may be, but then they also make sure that they tell whoever they did what they did. So if I, as a person, I decided that, hey, I'm going to give this person a discount. Maybe they don't deserve a discount, but I decided to appease them because they're upset. So I give them a discount. I'm going to make sure that my manager knows that I did this. I'm going to make sure that his manager knows that I did this. Because guess what? If it comes back, oh, well, you're just doing it on your own. No, I'm not doing it on all. I'm telling everybody else what I did.
Okay, that you're saying that's how you do it. Not everybody does it like that. Some people act independently and do stuff that's against the owner's will or against the owner's directive.
Great. And some people
So-
great. And some people are racist that would say that, hey, I don't want black people in my my apartments.
And you're never.
But
And
see,
you.
on
Where
that-
did Trump say that?
and you have no proof that
Where
he
did-
didn't.
So
The
Do you have
like,
proof that
where-
he didn't?
There's no proof that he did. You're the one that's trying to say he did.
There's proof that he was. You asked about his racism. There's proof that he didn't comply with the law. There's proof
Because
that he
he
got
owned the
sued by
business.
deal.
He owned the business. He was never
Okay.
found. Was he found guilty of
There we
that?
go. Everything
found
is going to
guilty
be
of
an
that?
excuse.
No, if
No,
you want to
he
bring up
settled
the,
out
if you
of
want to bring up
court.
the laws, was he
He
found
settled
guilty
out
of
of
it?
court.
Yeah, he settled out
He
of court, so
settled
he was
out of
never
court.
found guilty of it.
but they said he settled, but they still said that he was not following the act.
I got a
his
question.
son is
Why did
following
they
it.
accept the settlement if they had enough evidence for him to show he was guilty?
That's how a lawsuit works. You can settle out of court at any time.
Okay, then. So why didn't he have to admit to being guilty or admit to doing anything?
Great. So why didn't he just fight it in court to say that I didn't do this? Why didn't he fight it in court?
Because it's save money.
Oh, so could the DOJ do the same thing instead of just settle out of court so they can save money?
Wouldn't they get money from that case? Wouldn't they be able to make more money off of him if they
They
go to
did get
court?
money from the
He
case
did pay.
because they
No, wouldn't they be
settled.
able to get more money from him if it actually went through the whole court process? Because wasn't it when you sell out of court, you don't pay the full thing at the end. You pay it at a lower rate.
And who knows? Who knows? Maybe the cost variance was different.
Okay, so how? Okay,
So, like
we
I
don't.
said,
We
it's
just we
still gonna
disagree
be an
on this
excuse
particular
after an
thing.
excuse.
What's your next thing
You know,
then?
it's going to be an excuse after an excuse.
You're making excuse after excuse too.
If,
I could say the same thing
if
about
that was
you.
the only thing, if that was the only thing, then you might have an argument.
What
But,
was the other
I mean,
stuff?
With that, there's other stuff in regards to his rolling back discrimination policies.
mean he was
You have
rolling
him-
back discrimination
Obama birth
policies?
certificate. Well, I don't want to talk.
I never seen Obama's birth certificate. Y'all, everybody wanted
Yeah,
to see
see.
Trump's tax return, but how come we
Oh
can't
my
ask for
God.
Obama's birth
Okay, I'm
certificate?
done.
Right? You have to come on, bro.
I saw Obama's birth certificate. How did you not see it?
I didn't.
Come on.
It was
I
published
saw
in the
I saw
paper.
I saw the
been
joke when
public.
he said this is a video from my birth, and there was Samuel. I saw that, but I actually see the birth certificate.
Yeah, the birth certificate.
Have
was
you
out.
even looked for the birth
certificate? Was all
Because
over
it's
the
out
place.
there.
It's public.
Okay, let me look for the Obama's birth certificate and see if I could see it.
You realize you got to be a U.S. citizen to become president, and the FBI does background checks on that type of stuff.
Okay.
So,
Why
is you-
would
So
they- why would they-
because he denied Obama being born here and he questioned his birth, that makes him a racist?
That absolutely makes him a racist. Yes.
Did he do it based on race or based off belief that he wasn't born here?
race.
Why would he
Race.
have that dumbass belief if for any other reason than his race?
Did he say anything about any other president besides Obama? Did he ask any other president about their birth certificate other than Obama?
No.
Great.
So-
So what's the difference
middle
between
name is
Obama?
Hussein.
What's the difference between Obama and every other president?
Because at the time, that's when Trump was trying to become more political.
I said, what's the difference
doesn't-
between
that doesn't
Obama?
make
Because
it
Obama
excuse.
was
and every other
directly
president?
before the time that he was trying to become more political. So he
He
did
was
particular
black.
things towards
Answer
Obama
was he's black.
because he did particular thing towards Obama because he's the current president of the United States. So to get
Answer
more,
was he was
so
black.
you're just gonna ignore what I'm saying then.
That has nothing to. What is that? That's not even a political stance. It's just literally
No,
just
he's
racist.
trying to get into political field. He's doing attacks towards the current president. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so attack his
Because-
policy. Why are you attacking him
He
being
did
born
attack
in
his
America?
policies. and
That's
stuff.
so weird.
But why?
You know,
why
when
you
most people
bring
go
that up
into politics,
if you're not
when
racist?
most people go into politics, they actually decide to either try to help out their own community, raise up funds for someone. They don't go on TV and stuff and start claiming that dude wasn't born here or he's racist or anything like that. That doesn't make any sense.
Bro, they claimed that Trump was a Soviet Union spy or as part of the, a Russian asset.
That's not racist.
No, I'm not saying it's racist. That
There
was
was
a
actually
wasn't that not a wild claim like the Obama's birth certificate? So you're saying they only do stuff about his policies. Was that anything regarding his policies?
Yes.
So you're telling me that they made up that Trump being a Russian spy was part of his policies, and it was made
first
up.
off, they didn't say
They're
they
saying
didn't
that
say he
because
was a Russian spy.
his actions can be seen as like helping Russia. He might like obviously there's claims like that might not be a true claim, but it's based on like some type of reasoning. It's not just pulled out of thin air because of his race.
That's bro. Hillary Clinton says everybody that she disagrees with is Russian asset. Then she said
Well,
she said the
that's
same thing about
but
Tulsi
she's a sore
Gabbard.
loser
When Tulsi Gabbard was I
But
think
there's
Tulsi Gabbard
evidence
sided
of
with
that.
Bernie Sanders. She was saying that Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian asset.
because she's a sore
You know who
loser.
else said that she was a Russian asset? The
So-
FBI and the CIA.
The FBI and the CIA, the same FBI and CIA that said the Hunter Biden laptop was signs of Russian disinformation. Are these
Yeah,
people
that's
actually?
what they're-
Are these people? Are these the people that you're trying to say are the ones that are credible?
They are credible.
Even though it was proven to be false
Wait, are
that
you
the
saying-
Russia that the Hunter Biden laptop thing was false, and
They
even though the
said-
people from the FBI said that it had signs of Russian disinformation and it was proven to be false.
Based on their experience of being so these people that you're saying that are not they're under many different presidents. There was one person that had been there since Jimmy Carter and many other Republican presidents. So when you're saying, oh, they don't know what they're doing, that was their genuine belief. And you may have an argument
And
that
you
said,
and you they were
no.
wrong, right?
Yeah, they're wrong.
So
and
yeah,
they admitted that
they're
they
not
were wrong.
infallible. They're able to make errors and be wrong.
Yes.
But until they come out and say they're wrong, then what?
They're not
What
gonna
do
come
you-
out and
what
say
do you
they still
argue?
haven't. They still haven't came
What
out
do
and
you
said they're
argue?
wrong.
They said they were wrong about that.
No, I'm trying to say you're trying. The whole thing was because he said where it's coming from. I said that Trump just said some wild stuff about Obama, and he did some personal attacks and attack his policies also. And y'all said, oh, well, why didn't he just only attack his policies? Why did he do stuff that was personal? And I'm like, they did personal attacks to Trump. They said that he was a Russian asset.
But
That's
they didn't
because
attack
he
his
started
birth
doing
certificate.
attacks first.
You attacked the only black president's birth certificate because his middle name is Hussein.
No, because he's the current president, and you're
what
planning
is that?
on running after him.
Nobody's saying Trump's birth certificate is not accurate. Nobody's saying Hillary Clinton's birth. It's only for Barack Obama because he
Who was
has
the current who was the president when Trump said that?
I'm not saying that you can't
What
attack
did Trump
him.
run for? Did Trump run for political office afterwards? After he said that,
I know. He
Yeah,
said that
run for
before.
president?
You understand that Trump has been in politics since the 80s, right?
Trump's been in what political position did he hold?
You don't have to have a political position to be in politics. You can do that. That's why you have lobbyists. You have people that work in the background as well. He donated funds to Hillary Clinton back in he donated funds to Bill Clinton back in the 90s. He's swapped back and forth between political parties multiple times.
So you saying him being just donating money means he was in politics? That's what you're trying to say, right?
No, I'm saying he has been involved in politics, not just federal, but also local. He also did stuff
Because
with New York.
because
That
he
was his
donates
home
money,
state.
right? You're
It
saying
wasn't
that
just that he just donated money.
did he?
You're not listening to what
You're
I'm
telling
saying
me.
because you're asking me just because he donated money, and I've already told you no, it's not just because he donated
what
money.
was the other
So stop
things?
asking me the same
Then
question.
what was the other ways?
I just told
You said
Dude,
lobbying. What
do
is
you understand
lobbying?
how politics
Lobbying
works?
is involved. Is money involved? You're not lobbying because you're buddies.
Do
You're
you
lobbying
understand?
because you're donating
No,
to a
it does
particular
not have to do-
particular
It doesn't
campaign.
just have to do with money. There's
So-
more to lobbying than just
No,
money.
he-
So there's
I
no.
just
So is
Googled
there
it.
money exchange in lobbying?
There's both, my dude. Okay. Do people who aren't in politics not donate money, or what is your argument here?
No. Okay.
Because
Let me-
I'm
let me-
saying,
okay, this is what I'm
I'm
getting from
saying
what
he
you're
was
saying.
in politics, not just with donating money, but also having negotiations with the mayor of New York, the governor of New York. He's also did stuff with that. Dude,
Because-
you can Google
because-
this shit.
The only reason he's able
I
to do
don't
that
have
is
all of
because
his
he was giving
I
money
don't
to those
have all of his
people.
politics activities off the back
The
of my
only way
head.
he was able to do that because he was giving money to those people. They're not listening to Trump because they care because he's a politician. They're listening to him
Yeah,
because he's
that's
giving
how our
them money.
politics works.
So politics doesn't
That's
work
how
like
our
if you
politics works.
if you donate money to a particular person and you donate enough, you're able to have their ear.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
how it works.
So
Welcome to
are
America,
are we
my
not?
guy.
Are we green? We're sorry, green, right?
Yes.
That is, if you are donating money and lobbyists and lobbying people, yes, you are involved in politics.
Yes, it's only because of money. I'm agreeing
It
with you
is.
that it's because of the money. It's because of the money. It's not like he held a political office. If you want to say that he was in politics because he was donating large sums of money, okay, I'll agree with you on that.
So he actually started that birds. I'm not gonna say he started it, but he was talking about it as far back as 2011.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I didn't even know.
Okay. So okay. So you're saying that he was racist because he questioned his birth certificate or his where he was born.
Yes.
Where was Obama born?
Hawaii.
And did he know that? Or did anyone see his birth certificate because before Trump questioned it?
I mean, yeah, probably racist. Yeah, I'm sure other people did. That's probably where he got it from.
What you mean he got it from race?
That's a weird question.
Like I'm sure he
I feel
saw
like
it on the internet somewhere that it was. He saw some post or something saying Obama wasn't born here, and then just started running with it. That's pretty much what it seems like he gets a lot of his information from.
What I'm okay. So my whole thing. Okay, he questioned Obama's birth. You're saying that he did that because he was black?
Yes.
And I'm saying that he did that for a political stunt.
He said it over and over again. I mean, he could have just Googled. I mean, it's 2011. He could have just Googled it.
Hold up.
Yeah, I'm saying
you do
I'm
understand
agreeing
that
I'm agreeing that he did that.
political
But I'm
stunt
saying the
can
reason.
be also a political stunt and racist, right?
What are you saying?
The two
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
have to be separate.
You're the only one
Yeah,
that
it was-
sees that as racist because he questioned his country of origin. I
No,
got a
it's
question.
to
I got a
appeal.
question. If he questioned Bill Clinton's country of origin, would you consider that racist?
No, because it wouldn't
Because
be
he's
racist.
white?
Yes.
It's only racist when you question a black person's country of origin.
Or a Hispanic person, or like an Asian person, or anybody that's not white. I mean,
So
nobody. He wouldn't even think to do that.
Is white people only come from America?
Sir, why would he be racist against Bill Clinton, who has a Southern accent? That he intentionally did it because he was racist, because it was a racist thing to do to appeal to racist voters.
And that's where we disagree. I'm just
How
That
saying.
makes sense.
I'm saying it was a political
Hey,
stunt. It was
host.
just like a stunt for like attention stuff like that. Because Trump
Yeah,
liked the spotlight, and
host.
Trump says a lot of wild things to get like news coverage and news attention, right?
And he chose Obama. Why didn't he say it about any exactly?
Because
Why didn't he say
Obama
it
was
about
the
anyone else?
current president at the time before he ran for president himself. Why would
Okay, but he
he? Why would he
didn't say
attack
about
Bill
Democratic
Clinton?
candidate.
And Bill Clinton's not in office and haven't been in office since what is it, like the 90s. And George Bush isn't in office and haven't been in office for like 4 years or so, or 3 or 4 years. So why go after them when you're like want to come up next? Just go at the person that's currently in charge.
He talked about George Bush on the Iraq War. He didn't question his birth certificate. That would have been a political stunt. He didn't say anything about anybody that
So
was
he's
white.
so yeah, he only questioned one of them because that's only one person he wanted to question. So he should have questioned everybody's birth certificate for it not to be racist.
He shouldn't have questioned
Yeah,
anyone's
but-
birth certificate. But especially if you're going to only do it to the only black president with a foreign-sounding middle name, of course it's gonna be racist, sir.
Bruh, I'm just saying. I'm not saying he did because it was racist. I'm just saying he did like for a political stunt for a personal attack. That's my thing about it.
Okay. Look, I agree with you that he did it for a political stunt and personal attack, but I also agree that he did it because he's racist. You can do all of those things and also be racist. The two don't have to be separate.
And those two don't have the two can be separate.
Yeah, but
But
you're
in this
appealing-
case, they're not.
Well, think about this. Think about it this way, right? Who is he appealing to when he says things like Obama's birth certificate? He's clearly appealing to white voters.
I
when you
wouldn't say he's
things like
appealing
that.
to white bro. I'd say he's appealing to people that oppose Obama in general, not necessarily white or black.
You can do other things to attract people who oppose Obama. You don't have to go after his birth certificate. That was just a blatant red flag.
Why? Now, why is that a red flag?
Why not?
Because he's the
Because
current
why
president,
not?
and he's giving a personal attack to the current president, right?
Okay, Joe Biden was the current vice president, but he didn't say shit to Joe Biden.
Yeah, because Joe Biden wasn't the president. Like no
He
one
was
really,
still vice
no one
president,
really
though,
cares
right?
about the vice
He
president.
was still vice president.
Bro,
Yeah,
he
no
attacked
one
People care
cares
about
about the
that.
vice
Okay,
president.
all right. Then he didn't say anything about the House secretary either. She's pretty important. They were
Condoleezza,
pretty
what you
important.
talking about? You're not talking about Condoleezza Rice. That was on Bush. What are you talking about?
That was Bush, yeah.
So why? See, why didn't he attack Condoleezza Rice if he was racist?
Condoleezza Rice was not in office, and as you just pointed out, she wasn't even around.
So you see my
But
point,
I
then,
just
right?
said Joe Biden.
No.
No,
Oh, you're
because my
saying
point
he
was
attacked-
Joe Biden is around.
No,
So-
Yes,
you
sir.
said
Like
why didn't he
every single
attack
black-
Bush or Clinton? And I'm saying because they weren't in charge, and they weren't around, and Obama
I didn't
was
say
the.
anything about Bush or Clinton.
You said why? He said he only attacked Obama, and he was the only black president. Did I get it right this time?
He's the
Yes,
only
that's
one who
part of
took
it.
an attack
Yes,
that
and
could
I'm
be
saying
related or
that he only
interpreted to his
attacked him
race.
because he's the current president. And when I said the thing about Condoleezza Rice, you said she wasn't currently in charge. So you just used my own argument, right?
No. Like I literally just explained it to you. Two things can be right at the same time. In
And-
this case, three things are right.
And correlation is not
and then-
causation, right?
What?
Correlation is not causation, right?
That can be true, but not in this situation because we also saw him go extremely racist attacks towards Kamala Harris as well.
What racist attack did he make against Kamala Harris?
Not being foundational black was one.
She isn't. That's just a statement of fact.
Are you? Are
I'm
you?
not either. But I'm not
Okay,
trying to
well,
run.
then
I'm
neither-
not trying to
neither
run
is
as
foundational
an
black.
African American president. Like, come on now. What are you talking
Okay.
about?
He's the
Okay.
foundation
So
black.
no one knows what the fuck a
I've never
foundational
heard
black
that.
is.
You never heard? Oh, foundation. There's
Yeah.
foundational black, and then they got the black diaspora, and that includes all black people of every Jamaicans, Haitians, and African descent too. While
They
FBA
use that.
foundational black American means your parents were born here and you trace your ancestry through being in America from like the slave trade. That's what foundationally black American.
I can trace my ancestry back all the way to 1687 when one of my family members came over here as a free black person and
No,
then
I was
ended
just-
up moving all the way over to
I
Ohio.
was just answering his question
However-
about when he said, "What is foundationally
however,
black?"
Okay, but hold on. My point is that has never been a thing. And like I've never heard any African American, we've never talked about being foundational blacks. We've never
Umar
talked
Johnson
about
talks
that.
about that.
If
Umar
anything-
Johnson talks about the diaspora, does he not?
We talk about the diaspora, but
There's
also
another-
if you're going to talk about that,
There's
hold
another
up,
person
because
that
you gotta
like
let me finish. You gotta
Bro,
let me
you're
finish.
talking about. You said because you
again,
haven't heard of it, no one talks about this. And I'm telling you what I'm
dude,
telling you that I have
a
heard
degree
about
in
it.
African American studies. I don't know anyone who's ever talked about this. I'm a massive fan of Marcus Garvey. He's one of the first people to actually talk about the black diaspora. He does an amazing speech called Find Me in the Whirlwind, where he even talks about Africa being for Africans. And when he's talking about that, he's not talking about just Africans. He's talking about Africa in a global sense. So I've never heard African Americans argue that we should be considered foundational black and everybody else should be considered just black. We've never really split ourselves up like that. And
Bro,
the only other
that's
time
some BS
that
right
has
there.
ever tried to happen has been by a white person. So
Then why
you're
do black-
going
why do
with a
black
white
people-
person
I
that
got a
we
question
should
for you.
split our diaspora?
Do you know what tether means?
What?
Do you know what tether means?
You need to give me when
When a black American refers to a foreign
context.
black person that comes to America and that don't agree with liberal ideologies, they call them a tether.
I've
and-
never
and
heard anybody call
Because they say,
themselves a tether.
bro, I've been called that plenty of times. They call me a tether because I'm conservative and I'm a foreign-born black person. I wasn't born in America. I'm not African American. So they say, oh, you're just a tether to the
I
white
would
man.
just call you Uncle Ruckus at that point. Like,
Bro, I'm trying to
if
say
I was
just
gonna
because
call
you
you
haven't
Ruckus.
just because you haven't heard about something particularly doesn't mean it doesn't go on. You say you have a degree in
Okay.
African American study. Okay, there's people on YouTube right now that amass like hundreds of thousands of followers that talks about this, where their audience agrees with the particular things. There's multiple people that talk about that. I'm trying to
There's
find one of
people
the.
that have massive amounts of followers claiming that the Earth is flat. What's your point? You just
My
made an
point
argument
was
not
you
too long
don't know
ago
about it.
never
What
hearing about Trump.
you
What
asked
was
me for
it?
my
Never
point,
hearing
right?
about Trump
You asked me for
not
my
letting
point,
black
right?
people get
You asked me for my
apartments.
point in about the foundation in Black American thing, right? And I was
No,
yeah,
but go ahead.
did you not ask that?
No, I think
I didn't ask
No,
you
no. You
anything.
said
I
no.
was
You
talking to
just
you.
said what's your point, right?
Okay, no, but yeah, go ahead.
No. You said like he. So were you not the one that mentioned the stuff about him saying Kamala Harris was not a foundationally Black American?
Yeah, he said that. But go
So
ahead and
you know
talk.
I'm saying did you make that statement, right?
Yeah, he said that.
Okay. And then when I tell you about other Black people that talk like that, you're trying to tell me that doesn't happen. And then I was trying to say something that just because you never heard other Black people talk like that and make these statements don't mean it doesn't happen. And then I said something else like the
I
phrase
didn't
that.
say it
And then
doesn't happen. I said I've never heard it happen.
okay, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Just because you never heard it happen, it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. That's my point. Just like the phrase tether. Just because you never heard someone use that phrase tether to a foreign-born Black person that don't agree with them doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Can I ask you about your banner? Because that's really one of the things I wanted to talk about.
My banner? Yes.
Yeah, you have this thing saying that the left is racist, the right isn't racist, and anyone request up. And then up on top, you have a picture that has white people doing Black Lives Matter kneels, and I'm supposed to believe that these people are the face of racism. Now, I agree with some of the people in the chat who are saying both sides have racists, and they do. On average, though, the conservative side does have more. That's why you have the Ku Klux Klan that leans conservatively, and we're massive Trump supporters. That's why you have neo-Nazis who
Bill
are
Burr
massive Trump supporters as well.
wasn't like wasn't one of daggone Joe Biden's like mentors a racist? Like was something Bird or Bird or something?
Robert Byrd.
Yeah, wasn't what
Robert
that was
Byrd.
wasn't that Joe Biden's mentor? And wasn't he a Klans member? And he was a Democrat?
So, do you
Wasn't the
believe that
person
people
that
can
had
change?
wasn't the
Hold on. Do you believe that people can change?
yes. But I believe
People can educate
most people
themselves and
become more
change.
of who they really are.
So, you believe that once people educate themselves, they can change?
So he's saying Robert Byrd changed.
Yeah,
He
a
showed
lot of
evidence that
people
he
have said
changed.
he did.
Yes, if you read actually Google and read about him,
You
he
tell
was
people
racist.
wouldn't just lie about stuff like that.
That's why I say he showed evidence that he changed. I mean, he went
Okay,
and he,
okay. What didn't Joe Biden said? Was it minorities are just as smart as what is it? I forgot that particular one. He said he doesn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle because there would be because of integration.
yeah.
No,
Joe Biden didn't say that.
He said that.
there was more. You kind of leaving out a lot of context, and this is kind of like the issue with the
So
right is that you guys like to leave out a lot of
what was the
context.
context in that statement? Please tell me.
In that context, I believe this other dude seems pretty smart too, so I'm gonna ask him as well. I believe that was during the crime bill that everybody signed up on, right?
I'm not familiar, but I've heard that quote, and I believe he said, I'll look it up because I'm not just sure the entire context. Let me see.
So you're not telling me so no one's telling me the context. You said
You're
I
I'll
right.
look
forgot.
it
Just
up.
because a
No,
bunch of
you said made a
racist
statement
groups
that
did
said I
support
left out
Trump
the
doesn't mean
context.
the rest of
Tell
them
me the
are, or the rest of the supporters are racist. I'm not saying that all MAGA is racist, but I'm saying a good chunk of them are.
Are
okay.
you talking about during the crime bill, or are you talking about in the 2020
Okay,
statement?
this is what this. I'll tell you what I experienced from my personal life. When I disagree with someone on the left, they try to bring up everything about race and they start saying the N words, coon this, Uncle Tom that. But when I disagree with someone on the right, they try to make their statement of why they disagree with what I just said. For all the, I'm not saying that there's not. I know the stuff on this thing. Yeah, I said it like that, but that's just for attention grabber and stuff like that. Because I believe that there's racists on the left and the right, but there's starting to be a lot more racists on the left nowadays. And they're trying to say, and they're trying to come in the way that, oh, we're doing this for your benefit. We're trying to help you out and do this because you need our help because we're white. We're trying to use our white privilege to help you. And I'm like, hey, yo, I never needed someone's help to do something. I'm able to be successful without getting like, oh, white person's help to, or because I'm like needed or something.
Yeah, that's so you've never needed someone's help. Is that what you're saying?
I said I never needed a white person's help because I'm like, oh, because they have white privilege.
I mean, white or black. I'm just
So-
saying, like, you never needed anybody's help.
I'm gonna make this statement again. I didn't need someone's help because they're white and they had white privilege. That's gonna be the statement I make. Yes, I have gotten help from other people, and yes, I needed other people's help. I'll say that.
Okay, so
And it
when
wasn't
you
based on
got help,
it wasn't
though-
based on my race that I needed the help.
Okay, but I don't think it's necessarily based against people's race when other people need help either. It just happens to be that our people tend to be more in a community that where it doesn't need help. So what I'm saying is though is that like one of my best friends, he's a handyman, and like he's a really good one. But he'll tell you straight up that one of the reasons why he is because someone was privileged enough to actually teach him how to be better at his job and everything else. And from there, it expanded. I mean, privilege doesn't have to just come from race. It could come from like you knowing something. You're more privileged in that area.
I'm talking specifically about the people that have this white savior complex. They because they're white, they need to help the minorities succeed because they can't do it on their own. That's the particular people I have.
I'm sure that happens sometimes. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm sure that does happen, especially on the left.
Yeah, that's
But I
I'm
also
not saying
think that sometimes
if someone's more experienced than you in something and you want to learn from them, yeah, you could say, yeah, they're privileged because they know something like that and you can learn from them. Yeah. Okay, I agree with yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that. But I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't use the word privilege for that though. I'll say you're learning from someone more experienced that knows more than you. So that's not necessarily privilege.
I will use the word woke as my people had used it before. Y'all colonized the word.
What do you mean by woke?
I'm talking to this dude, Jason.
So that quote from Biden, that is accurate. He did say that. He was talking about busing.
Oh, my bad. I read that wrong. That's my fault.
So I mean,
that's my fault.
But the larger point is that conservatism in America, yes, there are racists on both sides, racist politicians on both sides, but the conservative section of America, the Southern Christian conservative section of America, the South pretty much, has always been the openly, hyper racist section of the country, hyper racist.
Well, I can't hear you too much.
All right, man, I'm gonna head out because I got work in the morning. Good talk. Yeah. Good talk. Take care, man.
All right, then, brother. Hey, Williams, you're making a lot of noise. What's up?
Oh, I apologize. I thought I was muted. I was just looking at your sign. What does that mean?
What does what mean in particular?
The left is racist and the right isn't racist. Anyone request? Okay.
My statement. I'll clarify this statement because this statement was more for attention grabbing purposes, anyways, just to get people's attention. I will say that there is racist people on both sides, but nowadays the way that I'm starting to see and experience less people being racist on the right, and they're not necessarily racist. They just disagree. I'm gonna mute you right quick. They're not. I don't think they're necessarily racist. They just disagree with you. They just believe that if you work hard, you can be successful on your own. And a lot of people on the left will disagree with that statement and say, oh, they can't do it on their own because they're black and systematic racism. And I'm like, there's been so many black people that are successful on their own. So what you trying to say about them, that they have white privilege also? Or was they just work hard and was able to become in a position that they were successful? For some reason, people on the left believe that, oh, the whole system is racist, while people on the right believe, hey, just work hard and pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
So I disagree with that. Yes, there are black people who come out and become successful, but that's only by design, right? So we're in an era right now where we're just now feeling the effects of them, things like the Civil Rights Act and them, all the fair, laws that allowed, people. So, but you still have to undo.
You're black, right?
Yes.
Would you consider yourself successful?
I mean, I'm only 21, So not
Do
really.
you
But I
think
mean,
that you could? Do you think that you could become successful if you work hard in America?
to a certain extent, yeah. Some people have it easier than others.
Do you think that the reason that these people have it easier than others is solely on the fact that they're of the race?
Mm, maybe not solely, but in a lot of cases, it can be solely. Yes,
Do you think it's
because
based on race or what? I forgot the word. What's the word? Was it nepotism? Or do you think it's more about race or
nepotism.
more about nepotism?
Well, that's like that's a right because white people they had the ability to get to this high status to get the nepotism, right? So it might
Okay,
not be solely based on race, but when you
I,
have white people who had positions that black people couldn't get, and then their kids benefit from that. I mean, it goes hand in hand. Race and nepotism go hand in hand.
I'll give you this. In the past, America's been racist towards black people and other minorities, right? But currently, right now, do you think that the problem is based on race or is it based on like, hey, yo, I know this person?
I mean, it's both. I mean, there's definitely
Both.
less racist than it was, but you still have the effects of the racism that it was feeling. That's why things like DEI and stuff like that is important because it tries to fix and address those type of issues.
I got quick. So you're saying if a black person gets their degree in a particular subject and some white person from the trailer park, that white person from the trailer park will be able to get the job ahead of the black person?
Yes.
I mean, it depends, bro. Like, it depends on what.
Yes. Do
So
you
you're
want me to
telling
give
me,
you an example? You want me to give you an example?
give me an example.
I mean,
Pete Hegseth.
yeah,
Pete
exactly.
Hegseth?
That's
Yeah.
what Trump.
I mean,
What,
look
so
Trump's
at
entire
look
cabinet.
at look
no,
at
why did Trump
Trump's.
fire the
Hold
black
on.
dude?
Because he went against what Trump liked. Trump is a narcissist. So if you go against him, he's going to get rid of you or
I
attack
agree
you.
with
Just like
you. I don't.
hold
Do
on,
you think that
just
have to do with race
hold
though?
on, hold on. Oh, definitely,
And I got a question. Do you
definitely.
know
With
Pete?
when
Do you know Pete Hegseth's resume?
he's not, his resume wasn't as good as the brother that he replaced. I know that much.
So you don't know his resume then?
I know his resume.
What's
Was it
what
better than
what schools did he go
the
to?
brother he was it better? Answer my question, sir. Was it better than the person he replaced?
It depends.
No.
Some people could say yes, some people could say no.
No,
I'll say
that's exactly.
I'll say it
You
depends on
know
what you
it
want
wasn't.
because some people
No,
no,
no.
let me talk because some people prefer the enlisted side, some people prefer the officer side. Pete Hegseth was an enlisted person in the army, right? And a lot of people on the enlisted side likes the people that are enlisted more than the people that are officers. They have a running joke about calling a daggone like a mass sergeant sir, and they'll be like, oh, I'm not a sir, I work for a living.
Yeah, but
At
he
the,
specifically he had many complaints that he was a drunk. And
exactly, and
He
he's
was in
showing
the
it.
military. Everybody's
And
a
he's showing
drunk.
it.
No,
That's
but
not
even
Literally,
true.
after that,
the
That's
Marine Corps
not
was
true.
literally started in a bar, Turns
But
Tavern.
that everybody ain't a alcoholic.
I
But
was
this
in
is
the Marine Corps for
hold
about
on.
7 years. It's a good
Are
amount of
you
people in the military that was alcoholics.
are
but
you an alcoholic?
If you, bro, you know how many? No, stop.
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or
I
no.
got,
It's a yes or no.
I
Are
gotta
you an
define how to.
alcoholic?
If you want to know how to define alcoholics,
Or
if
a
you
functioning alcoholic?
you
Are
want to know
you
how to
even one
he
of
define
was
them?
showing us the
you want to know how to
approximately drunk.
define alcoholic? It's like 2 or 3 drinks and like 3 to 4 times a week. 2 to
This
3
the
drinks,
problem I have.
4 to 5 times a week would be considered someone an
This
alcoholic, right?
this is the problem I have with people that support Donald Trump. You can never get a yes or no.
Bro,
Are
like
you an alcohol? Or
it
are you an
depends. Me
alcoholic?
personally, I wouldn't consider myself an alcoholic. But if
Yes
you
or
want,
no?
I just said
Yes or no?
I just said I wouldn't consider
It's
myself
a
an
yes or no. Yes or no.
Can you not infer
Exactly.
a yes or no from the statement I made? If I said I wouldn't consider myself
I
an
can't.
alcoholic,
I can't. I'm slow. So I need yes or no answers. Are you an alcoholic?
I don't
Are
know.
you a functioning
I
alcoholic?
don't know because we can't give a definition of the word. How do you define alcoholic?
Bro, he's an alcoholic. Whatever the definition is, it's Pete Hegseth. He literally there are reports that
What's the
from
definition
his
of
coworkers,
what's the
he
definition
was
of
showing up
alcoholic?
drunk.
What's the
He
definition
was
of
showing up
alcoholic?
drunk to work.
So
That
wait,
you
didn't
that
you
you
just say
can
people
that
could
you can't
change?
that you that
Y'all
you
just
He's
said
can't
not
function
changed.
that you
You have
can't
to show
function
that you're
without
changing. He's
alcohol.
not changed.
What
You
is,
can't
is
function
he still
without
like?
alcohol.
What is he doing that's like getting caught up with
But
alcohol? What is he doing wrong with
the other
alcohol?
day, he was on TV and he had one side of his sideburn shaved, the other side fully on, like fully unshaved. He clearly still an alcoholic. He's still
How's
doing.
that an
He just
alcoholic, bro? If you look at
he.
my beard right now, you will
How do
see
you
that's not
shave?
evenly shaved.
He's a bro.
Um,
He's a Secretary of Defense.
And
He's
I'm saying,
and
leaking
how is he an
information.
alcoholic?
signal chat.
The signal
He,
chat.
he,
He's
he's
not
Okay,
sending it to
okay.
his
qualified.
wife and
What was wrong in the
brother-in-law.
What was wrong in the signal chat? What was the problem with the signal chat?
That he
So that,
leaked, bro.
What was the
never mind.
no,
I'm about to
because
go ahead and get
no,
off.
Pete
I'm about to
Hegseth
go
didn't
ahead.
add the reporter to the signal chat, did he?
Hey, bro.
Who added the
No,
reporter to the
but he
signal chat?
What about his wife and brother-in-law? He added.
Bro,
texted his wife and brother.
that was just a report that said he has a signal chat with his wife and brother.
Oh,
He
What was in
told
that
them.
signal
He
chat?
told
What was in
them.
the signal
Hey,
chat?
bro.
No, with the wife
Hey,
and brother,
bro.
what was in the
I'm-
signal
I'm-
chat?
I'm-
With the wife and brother,
I'ma
what was in
let-
the signal chat? With the wife and brother, what was in the signal chat?
He had shared information about strikes.
What did he share? What did he say?
Let me pull it up.
And with the wife and brother, what did he say in the signal chat? If you want to talk about the one with the reporter,
Yeah.
I could tell you what about that reporter. It wasn't nothing that was classified. They said it wasn't classified.
No.
All they said is
No.
F-18 delivering first package.
No. They had times. They had weapons. All that was in that.
Did they have a location? Did they have the name of the target?
That's still all that is classified information.
The people
Right.
that are able to declassify the information said it wasn't classified.
Okay. Well, you can.
No,
Was that before?
Is he not able to declassify this information? Is he not
That's not
able to
how you
determine the
do-
classification of the information?
Okay, but again, right? That information was classified. Whether you could say it wasn't, that
What was in
definitely
the
classified.
information? All it said was
There was times-
F-18s dropping first
Weapon
package at this
systems.
time.
That's all classified. That's all. Active weapons are definitely classified.
They didn't know they didn't know a location and they didn't know the target.
Okay.
No. Seriously. What's like they said at this time that these people are getting this person getting attacked. They say the particular person. Did they say a particular area? Or what did they say?
I'm pretty sure they had the location, the time, the
they
weapon.
didn't have the
system.
location. They didn't have the target. They just
So it's not- so-
let's play it like this. If the Houthis got that information, what could they have done with it?
They would know an attack is coming.
Where would that? So they would move every single body in that particular island that's part of the organization.
It's possible. Definitely, they would have had an impact. They could have prepared. That's the point.
Bro,
could have
they
prepared.
wouldn't know where it's being attacked. They would know that he's getting bombed at his girlfriend's.
Would know something is happening at this time. Yes.
So wouldn't he just like, oh, I'm just gonna hide out my girlfriend's apartment building? They don't have this particular.
Bro,
Did they know
yes.
that we had that information?
Dude, we're talking about the classified information that they can do anything with that information. Any information that's classified
If the Houthis
and
got
shared
that
is wrong.
information, what would they have done? They would have moved every
It
single
doesn't
person.
matter.
On the, bro, I'm trying.
It's still
to,
classified.
First of all, he determines the classification of that information, right?
I guess I don't know that to be true, but I'll take your word
Isn't
for
he
it.
like the secretary in charge of that particular department?
Yes, but I think other people can determine classifications. But sure, I'll take your word for it.
And I got a question. And you say, do the military use the signal to begin with? The whole military, do they use that in general, even for like
I
secret
don't know
stuff?
if the whole.
Yes,
I don't
they
know
do.
if the whole military does,
The
but-
military uses it a lot. When I was in the military, they had us download that before certain deployments.
Okay.
So you're saying they knew the weapons that were being used in the time that the weapons were gonna strike the target. They didn't know the target or who was being bombed or what location was being bombed or where those bombs were gonna be dropped.
Okay. I mean, that's still classified. I mean, if you're saying it's not classified because he leaked it and he didn't want it to be classified, then I
It
don't
wasn't
think
him that leaked it. It was someone that was
No.
someone else that created the group. It was like the person that was working under him. It wasn't Pete Hegseth.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that's fine, but that's still classified information. I'm not saying that he necessarily did
I got
that.
a
but he
question.
did share it to his wife and his kid. I mean, his wife and his brother.
Okay, you're talking about they're bringing this up again. They have no evidence that he shared it with his brother. They said that credible sources said that they did this. Who are those credible sources that said that?
I mean, I thought I saw a screenshot of it, but I can try to pull it up.
The only screenshot or only like text information that we have is the one from that had the reporter in it. It is not the one with the daggone with the brother and wife as people talking about. If you pull it up, I'll admit I'm wrong. If you pull
Yeah,
up, show me where he's texting his wife. Hey yo, we gonna go bomb these people at this particular location, or we're gonna send this bomb at this time. Just that.
okay.
Tribal tribal creation.
Hello.
What's up?
Oh, just living life.
Hey, what you got for us?
Oh, I was just here to talk about the racism stuff.
What's up? What's your views on this?
Oh, I just think it's pretty funny that I get told to go back to my own country by Trumpers all the time, and I consider that pretty racist because they're basically not the color of my skin.
What you mean by Trumpers? Because I get racist stuff by people that's on the left.
Guys wearing red MAGA hats with
Where at?
the Trump stickers and the FJB bumper
Where at?
stickers, and
Where do you encounter these individuals at?
around Colorado, Denver.
So around Colorado, Denver, like at
Yeah.
at a gas station or something.
Oh, they'll yell at me on the road. They'll tell me in the store. I was at King Soopers, and some guy said,
You're just standing there being black, and they just yell at you. Oh, like go back home.
"Well, I'm not black.
Or what? My bad. What's your ethnicity? Sorry about that.
I'm brown. Yeah, I have brown skin. I look Mexican."
Are you Mexican?
The other day, I was at the store, and someone said, "Hey, you're going back to your own country. Trump's going to send you guys all back to Mexico."
And you're saying this happens a lot in Colorado.
This happens a lot everywhere, especially with my people.
Because the times I've been to Colorado, Crawford, Colorado, and some places in forgot the exact location because it's just where my wife's from. I don't get that. In Crawford, Colorado is like more like red than Denver.
Oh, do you look Mexican?
I'm black. When
Well,
you racist towards
yeah,
black
but I
people
look
too?
Mexican. That's why they're telling me to go back to Mexico. Why would they tell you to go back to Mexico?
What location did you hear them tell you to go back to Mexico? You said that you're on the road, you're driving.
Oh yeah, I had a guy yell at me on the street. I had one guy tell me that in a store.
So okay. The dude in the street driving, he like rolled down his window next to you and or we are driving where you at a red light.
We had a red light. He rolled down his window and he said, "Go back to Mexico."
Out of the blue.
Yep.
And you're gonna say that because that one individual do it, that's your opinion on the majority of them, or what percentage of them would you say that would
Well, it was
reflect?
more than just him, but he had a FJB bumper sticker on his car. Yeah, "Don't tread on me" bumper sticker.
I will agree
The
with
Trump
you.
bumper sticker.
There's people on the right that are racist. I'll give you that. There's people that on the right. There's people that are MAGA AF that are like super racist. I'll give you that.
Okay.
But are you
So
gonna
you
say
need to
that
take
because,
that
are you gonna say
post
that
down
are you gonna say that
and say the left
whole right
and the right are racist.
I already
Is
explained
what you
why
needed to do.
I already explained why I have that up there. You want me to explain it to you?
Oh, because you think the left is racist more than the right.
No,
And I
have
think
that-
it's pretty
I
much
have
down
that
the
on
middle.
there
You're
'cause
going to
it's
run
a
into
attention
racism on
grabber.
both sides all the time.
I have that up there because it's an attention grabber. It grabs your attention.
Oh, so it's the hypocrite type of thing. I see.
If
You're just
wanna-
trying
if
to
you
pull
want-
people in.
If you want to say that, yes, then okay. Yes, it's a hypocrite type of thing. If you want to say that,
But do you believe the left is more racist than the right?
I believe the left is starting to become more racist than the right.
Oh,
Yes,
All right.
because
So
all this stuff,
you did not
all
put
the
that
stuff I
up
say
there
on
to
TikTok,
start a
and all the
conversation. You
people
put
that
that up
come
there
up,
because that's what you believe.
all the people that come up on TikTok, when I disagree with them on the left, they start saying Coon this, on Uncle Tom this, and this is people that are daggone white or like I'm like talking like the ways of people saying that you can see in the profile pictures, and they're on the left. Cause just because I disagree with them, they'll say, "Oh, you're carrying water for the white the Republicans. You're an Uncle Tom."
Well, I can see why they would say that, but
Yeah.
Is that not racist though?
I mean,
Did
you
I
can
say
it's
that the left
racist,
wasn't?
But when you're literally on the party, you're in the group of people that was pro segregation. I mean,
You talking about the
And you
people
just-
that wrote the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the Republicans?
yeah,
Wasn't Joe Biden pro segregation?
yeah. Joe, I
So
don't.
what you
I
mean
don't.
that? So what side particular you talking about that was pro segregation?
Because you see how you're pointing to like one person in particular, but you're not looking
Yep.
at the
The
overall
person that
like conservative.
That is true.
It was the Democrat that filibustered that one civil rights act that and he beat Cory Bush broke his record, or Cory Booker broke that record from someone doing something racist. Like, come on now.
Yeah, and what party was he? He was in
He
the
was a
Southern
Democrat.
Conservative. Yeah, in the South, right? The
He was a Democrat.
Southern Conservative Democrats. Yes, in
he
the
was a
South,
Democrat.
the
You're
conservative South.
He was a
Okay,
Democrat,
listen
right?
to what he's saying. Stop
You're
saying
trying to
he's
say
a Democrat and listen to what
right?
he's saying.
He's trying to say
He was. Yes.
Okay, he was a
That's-
Democrat.
that-
We're agreeing.
Bro,
You're trying to say
you-
okay, then why was Biden pro segregation? You're trying to say that dude was a Southern Democrat. What about Biden from
racist.
Delaware?
Hold on, he was racist. I'm not saying that Biden is this.
What about Lyndon
this
B.
super-
Johnson at the time?
Oh,
the
stop with the whataboutism.
I'm trying to give
Get
you
back on
examples
topic.
of, bro. Y'all brought up
I know these
segregation, did y'all
examples.
not? Didn't one of y'all bring up?
I'm aware of these examples. I know Lyndon B. Johnson said racist things. He was likely he basically was a racist. But what you're looking at like 2 or 3 or 4 people instead of looking at the entire narrative that the Democrat Party ran on at that time, which was the conservative policies. They were small government. They were
Who
states'
wrote the-
rights. They were.
Okay, but who's doing all the racist stuff? The Democrats, right?
Yeah, Southern conservative Democrats.
How about we stop talking about things that happened in the past and talk about what's going on right now?
Y'all literally brought up segregation. I forgot if it was you or him that brought up segregation. You said which is the party that's pro
It wasn't
segregation.
me.
That's
the
why
Republican
I
Party-
brought up. That's why I brought up the stuff I brought up, because one of y'all brought up segregation. So we went back to the time period of segregation.
And
Does
then
that
you
not
brought a
make
bunch
sense?
of whataboutism into it.
And
It
which
wasn't
and what
whataboutism. It was stuff that actually happened from people that was Democrats. You said the first person I brought up, you said
Because we
he was
can do
a
the exact
Southern.
same thing.
The first person I brought up, you said he was a Southern Democrat. Then I said Biden. He's from Delaware. That's not in the South. So
What about
then you said,
when Trump
okay,
was going after Native Americans?
People from
What about when
Delaware
Trump was
can
going
sue.
after black people? What about when Trump
what
was?
was Trump doing to go after Native Americans?
Native Americans have been fighting Trump since the '80s with the casinos and they don't even look like Native Americans. And yeah,
What was Trump doing to go after
Native
Native
Americans? Have had
Americans?
issues with Trump since the 1980s.
What
The American
was it?
Indian movement. The American Indian movement has been dealing with Trump since the 1980s.
What did
And if
they
you really
do?
want to learn about it, go to the American Indian page.
So you're not gonna tell
American
me.
Indian.
You're just gonna make this.
It's called AIM.
You're not gonna tell me what did Trump do to the Native
I
Americans?
just did.
You said that they had like
He was fighting.
He was fighting them what?
Are you going to keep talking over me? Let me finish.
Go ahead.
He was fighting the Native Americans because of their casinos. He was. What the hell?
Was he trying to create one of
Oh,
his
sorry,
own
a bunch of stuff
casinos?
just popped up on here. But yeah, there was a lot of racism going on. He was trying to get the Native Americans. He was
I got a question. Was he trying to start his own
he was
casino?
trying to disqualify people that were Native Americans as being Native Americans.
How did he do that?
Look it up.
You're the one that's making
just
this
told you
statement.
how.
You say he's trying to
He
disqualify
came after
people from
them and-
being. You say he's trying to disqualify people from being Native American. How did he do
Yeah.
that?
Oh,
And then you brought up the casinos. Wasn't he trying to create a casino at the time that went bankrupt?
Yeah, and that's why he was going after the Native Americans
What did he
and
do to
talking
go
about
after
how
the-
they.
Like,
Oh dear God!
you're
So
saying he's
Trump-
going after the Native Americans. What did he do? You're saying he's trying to say they're not Native American.
Every time I try to explain it, you talk right over me.
Okay, go ahead. What did Trump do to go after the Native Americans? Go ahead.
He was talking about that they weren't actually Native Americans, even though they were. They were registered Native Americans. They were tribal, and he was trying to go after all the casinos and all the Native American tribes, trying to get them disqualified as being Native American, just like he's doing now with Native Americans, trying to take away their sovereignty, trying to take away the whole sovereignty of the reservations of the of our sovereign nations, trying to disqualify them as being Native Americans.
I can talk now. I can ask you a question.
Sure.
You said he was trying to disqualify their sovereignty now. What do you mean by that? Like how?
Well, that's just actually something that happened recently.
Like what?
You know, he qualified some weird fucking tribe as saying they're Native Americans while trying to disqualify certain tribal members, sovereignty nations, as being sovereign anymore by saying that they're not Native Americans. And going back all the way back to the 80s, you know, he was trying to do that back in the 80s too, because they wanted Native American lands.
You said Trump wanted Native American land?
Yeah, he was trying to go after their lands up
For
in
what
the
particular
New York
reason?
area.
He was just trying to go after the land. So that's what he's trying to say, that they weren't Native Americans.
Yeah,
So like business reasons and stuff like that. So try to question their involvement in the casino industries.
yep.
Seems like a business move to me. So if you want to say that's racist, okay. Okay. So, and he's trying to say, and like, and what was the time period you say he was trying to go after the Native Americans? You're trying to say currently right now he's going after them again?
Yeah, he's trying to go after the Native Americans again. Here, I'll bring up the article.
Do you think that he was attacking the Native Americans because he was for like so he's because he was trying to open a casino at the time? Oh, he's looking up an article. He can't see it right now. No, that, like it seemed like what I'm reading from this seemed like he was questioning some of the board members of a particular casino, so and their involvement in there, because apparently at the time he was trying to open up a casino himself.
I mean, I have a executive order where I
What's
saw
up?
this when it came out,
What's up? What
where
you got?
he no longer requires ban on segregated facilities in government contracts.
What about the Equal Rights Amendment? Doesn't that already covers that?
It does, but why would you want to repeal that?
Wasn't that the because they're trying to use that for like trans right issues, for giving them access to the bathroom?
I don't see anything about that in here. You know what I
Because
mean?
it doesn't say isn't that the time when you say like this can't discriminate based on like what is it gender and sex or something like that? And at the time they're trying to say that the Title 9 stuff was trying to say that they're doing it based on gender instead of doing it based on sex.
I don't see any of that in this article. All it says is it's to get rid of DEI. It's considered under DEI, so we got rid of it.
Yeah, but we already have a law that covers that. He didn't get rid of the Equal Rights Amendment or the 1964 Civil Rights Act. You can't even if he did get rid of it. What did that do? Well, like
Exactly. So
that was only
if it
one,
doesn't do
because
anything,
you
why
only
would you get
mentioned
rid of
one
it?
part of that particular executive order that he undid, right? What was the whole
Yeah.
what was the overall thing else in there?
Honestly, it doesn't matter. Honestly.
So
Well, I mean, there's
all the other stuff that was in there doesn't matter. The only part that you're focused on is the daggone the stuff that says you can't, like, was it contractors can't desegregate bathrooms, not desegregate bathrooms, like discriminate against bathrooms or something like that.
It says it's no longer a requirement to explicitly prohibit segregated facilities in new government contracts. So what I'm asking you is, how does that part of the executive order fix anything that any American is going through, and is not just a dog whistle to racists?
It doesn't do anything.
It does do something. It's a dog whistle to racists.
It doesn't
dog
do
whistle.
anything.
So why would you do it if it doesn't do anything? That doesn't make any sense.
Because isn't that cause I'm pretty sure that's the one that had to do with like they're trying to use that as a way to say that the T's could go into the bathrooms, right? Based on gender and not based on sex.
Yeah, I did find that article.
What's up?
Let me try to find executive order.
What's up? What article you found? If you that gonna leave the app while you're trying to talk, you're just gonna be muted. We're not gonna be able to hear you. If you're currently trying to do that right now.
Sorry. Here we go. Let's see here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right.
You left the app and you're currently muted and we can't hear you.
Trump signed an executive order to get rid of birthright citizenship for Native Americans. Now, it was blocked by a judge stating that Native Americans are natural born Native American. We're not. We are Native Americans. But Trump did sign an executive order to get rid of birthright citizenship for Native Americans.
I thought he signed an order to get rid of birthright citizenship that was for children of illegal immigrants that were born here. because the way
and
that
Native Americans.
because the way that the daggone 14th Amendment rights, it was written for the children of the African slaves at the time.
Actually, Native Americans are part of that too. The 14th Amendment. They are now after the 1970s. Because I don't know if you know this or not, but Native Americans weren't actually considered citizens of the United States until the 1970s. And it was illegal for Native Americans to marry outside of their race until the 1970s.
Yeah,
But we were given birthright citizenship, and then Trump signed an executive order to get rid of birthright citizenships for Native Americans, but a judge blocked it, saying that Native Americans are natural citizens.
the only way I heard him doing that was for the children of illegal immigrants. I didn't never hear something about that for Native Americans.
Yeah, he signed it for Native Americans. But it was blocked by a judge, and the judge specifically stated that Native Americans are natural citizens.
So in 1984,
So it says.
what's up?
So it says the office. I'm reading directly from the executive order. It says the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs within the Department of Labor shall immediately cease promoting diversity, holding federal contractors and subcontractors responsible for taking affirmative action, and allowing or encouraging federal workforce balancing based on race, color, sexual preference, or national origin. I'm pretty sure all that was already illegal.
So he got rid of contractors that had to say you have to have a race quota for to do this. You have to have a gender quota and stuff like that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Race quotas have already been illegal. That's all stuff is
That's what
already been
affirmative
illegal.
action is. Affirmative action.
Yeah,
isn't
that's
illegal.
affirmative action is illegal.
No, affirmative action was illegal like in the like 2-3 years ago. That's when it went to the Supreme Court case. Because up until then, colleges were still able to do affirmative actions entry program, which disproportionately like the daggone Asians, they were getting screwed over. Like Asians and the white kids were getting screwed over to increase the amount of other minorities like the blacks and Hispanic. That was what affirmative action was for the school case. That's why the Asians sued for it. Right?
This is still after that, so he's saying that that's illegal, but it's already illegal.
But doesn't DEI have race quotas and stuff for it too?
No, DEI is basically this idea that you try to recognize that Black people and Hispanic people have been discriminated against, so you try to fix that. Don't hire anybody that's unqualified because that's illegal. Don't hire anybody based on race, but
in practice,
do efforts to outreach to those type of people.
How did they do it? In practice, how do you do it? Isn't it like, hey,
They do.
we have hiring quotas?
No, they do. They do like outreach events to like Black groups of people, but it's not explicitly. It's not only for Black groups, but they may
You
do
just
like
said
a
they do outreach events to Black groups, right?
Yeah, or to minorities, yeah, or women.
So isn't that not race-based hiring practices? You're going particularly.
You don't get hired just because
you're
you're Black.
searching specifically for Black people, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that not race-based hiring practices? I'm not
You
saying
don't
you're
get
getting hired
hired.
only because you're Black, but if you're going out and searching for Black people specifically, that is literally race-based hiring practices.
because they're underrepresented, but you're not guaranteed a job.
You know what? It doesn't matter. If they don't have the merit to get the job, they don't get the job.
They
End
don't
of
get it.
story.
I don't understand why you would, if you know that minorities have been discriminated against, and then
Dude,
they,
you're not discriminated against anymore. You keep playing this
Shut the hell
game
up. What are you talking about?
and you get a hand up. You get college scholarships. You got this, you got that. You got everything based on skin color. Dude,
I didn't go to
and you
college for
are
free.
the minority. So guess what? If you have a minority, there are going to be less of them people in the workforce. It's just how it is. It would, if you went to another country that's mostly Black or mostly Hispanic or whatever, Mexico, for example, there would be less white people in the workforce than there would be Hispanic because that's the majority of the population. That's how that works.
I didn't know that. Thank you. I didn't know.
Wait.
I didn't know that Black
Hey,
people are
y'all
minorities.
too. Let's stop with the hostility towards each other. Let's be a little bit more civil, all
What
right?
are you talking about?
Like we don't need to do that. Let's just talk, all right?
I'm acutely aware that Black people are a minority. That's not even what the issue is trying to solve. The issue is trying to solve is that they've been discriminated against throughout the entire history of the country. So
you,
I think
No,
of
no, they have
community
not.
I got a question for you. Isn't that if we go specifically going to target a particular race, isn't that discriminating against other races? If I say
Not really. They're not being.
if I say
They're not being harmed.
like I put it, if I say I'm having a hiring thing where I'm going specifically to try to get white people hired, is that not discriminating against the Black people?
It's not specifically to get white people hired. That's the standard process. Is this?
Wait.
Just have
If you're going and doing outreach programs to get to target black people? Isn't the goal to try to hire more black people?
Yes, hire more than 0 black people. Yes, that's the effort.
So isn't that not race-based hiring practices? Isn't that like that's DEI?
No, a hiring practice is in terms of once you get to the application, then that's it. You don't get extra boosts and points and because you're black. It's only to get you to the door. That's not racist.
I got a question.
There's no.
Why do you're black, right?
Yes,
Who did DEI help out the most?
I think it helped out white women the most.
So are they minorities?
Women are minorities, but no, you wouldn't say
Women
it like
are
a white woman
50% of the population. How are they minorities?
because they've been discriminated against. Yeah, it's like complicated, but women are considered minorities. I think
You don't see a problem
like
with
they're
that,
like because
like you're fighting so hard for DEI and it doesn't really help you out that much. And
it doesn't, but the efforts are still there. It's better than so what we have now, where the Trump cabinet is saying, oh, we're no more DEI, and then he hires like just blatantly unqualified people like Linda McMahon.
Isn't the person in the
Linda
Department of Housing, I believe, or Urban Development, isn't he black?
I have no idea, but sure.
He's black. Yeah.
Also,
The Department of the head of the Department of
I don't
Urban
care.
Development is black.
what are
He
his
also has
qualifications?
someone. He has someone working for him that's literally on the spectrum. That's a minority. It's just
Yeah,
how
and,
it
D-
is.
So, can you say
and DEI would only be considered under like DEI policies.
no? What you talking about? Isn't that the ADA? That say people Americans with Disability Act say you can't discriminate against them. Isn't that
Yeah.
not DEI? That's the ADA.
But you're saying, but you're saying only choose the most qualified person. And then you're telling me, oh well, this guy, he has autism, so obviously he's not the most top tier qualified
No,
person.
I'm saying Trump
depends on the
hired someone
job.
with autism because they were the most qualified, despite having autism. And honestly, for Elon, his autism made him more qualified because of the way his mind works.
Oh, you're talking about Elon Musk. Oh, you're an idiot.
I didn't know she was talking about Elon.
No, you're an idiot. No,
What's
so
wrong-
Pete
wait.
Hegseth,
Okay, wait. What's wrong? Like, what's wrong with Pete Hegseth? Was he in the military?
he was in the military, yes, but
Was
he was
Did he not
when he
reach
was
one of
a
did he-
drunk.
did
He
he not
constantly
reach one
showed
of-
up to Fox News.
Did he not
Drunk.
reach? Did he not reach one of the highest ranks for enlisted people?
That's fine. He's still a
he
drunk
go to,
and
like, I
a
think he went
his
to
own
Harvard.
mother. His own mother wrote an email saying how terrible of a person he was.
And Tim Walsh's family voted for Trump. What's your point?
You're telling me there was no other qualified person in the military that had more experience than him because he was on Fox News glazing Trump every day.
Bro, I'm saying, bro, you're when you say that, oh, he was on Fox News, that's the only thing you're looking at. You're not looking at the schools he went to. You're not looking at any of the organizations.
I read the schools
You're not
he
looking
went
at any
to,
of the
bro.
veteran
I read about it.
organizations that he worked with before that. You're not looking at none of that. You're just saying, oh, he was on Fox News and he was a drunk.
He was an extreme. Yes, you can't do that job if you're a drunk. No.
Dude, you think, we had a house that has an alcohol problem.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now. Being in the military, the drunks in the military are not like the drunks in the civilian sector.
All right, bro.
I'll
I
just be
think
like,
there was.
you say
He
that
could have found one person.
bro, he found the best person for the job.
Okay.
You're saying
okay.
because you consider Pete Hegseth a drunk. That's why, right?
He was showing up to Fox News and drunk to the point he had to be carried out. It was not like
He
a
was carried
regular.
out of Fox News.
Yes, he was. People, bro. There were dozens of reports from his coworkers saying
when he was
would
on
show up
TV
drunk.
or at like
Not on TV, but he would show up to his job drunk. He would be drunk all the time.
Who
He
was
would
the-
be-
And
there
what's
was
your
times
point,
he would
dude?
carry
Stop,
out.
What
stop.
happened with
Who
Nancy?
said that? Wait, stop. Who said that he showed up to the job drunk?
Let me pull it up.
Because it's always like when I hear some of these stuff y'all say, it's always sources close to Pete Hegseth and doesn't give an actual name.
They might not have wanted to share their name.
So
Well, you
obviously-
know what? Then they're
why
not a
would-
credible source.
you
If
think
it's
that
dozens of people,
what does you mean by doesn't? If they're not putting their name by what they're saying, it loses credibility.
not really.
Okay,
Bro,
I got
there's
a
someone
question.
spamming.
Was it Kamala-
Sorry to
was it
interrupt
Kamala
you. There's
showing
someone
up
spamming
drunk?
your chat, dude.
I don't really care.
When?
What, so you're saying Kamala wasn't showing up drunk?
When? I'm not even. What are you referring
Did you
to?
see any of these Kamala interviews? Yeah, I've seen a
few.
school buses. Everybody likes a school bus.
You
So
can
and
say-
Nancy Pelosi, who was head of House for how many times?
I didn't
Remember-
vote for Nancy Pelosi.
Remember, Nancy Pelosi. Good morning, Sunday morning. Remember that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't vote for any of those people. I didn't vote for Nancy Pelosi. You voted for Trump when he told. I mean, he clearly this dude doesn't know.
Did you vote for Kamala?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Good morning, Sunday.
That's
No,
not
that's not
Nancy
Kamala.
Pelosi.
That's
Nothing to do with
Nancy
Nancy
Pelosi.
Pelosi.
What's Kamala? I grew up in a middle class family. Like, come on, all that. Like, you can't tell me you seen Kamala every time you seen her. She was stone cold sober.
I mean, I know I'm not. I haven't seen her like drunk. All I know is nobody was saying she was a drunk.
Bro, everybody was
drunk.
saying she was a drunk.
Who?
Bro, people were saying Kamala was a drunk.
Okay. Well, I'm
Bruh.
trying to find this.
Not to mention, and Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, if you voted for Democrats for a House position, you voted for Nancy Pelosi because they voted her in.
And what's your issue with Nancy Pelosi specifically?
Wait. Stop.
Because when we think about the strength of our democracy, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. When it's intact, it's so strong in terms of what it does to uphold and protect individual rights and freedoms. So strong in its nature. And it's very fragile.
Oh, don't forget the sexual misconduct.
You tell me that lady was sober?
I mean, she may have had a drink. I wouldn't call her a
My
drunk.
mother used
I would
to,
say,
she would give
don't
us a
forget
hard
the
time
sexual
sometimes, and
misconduct.
she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Like, okay, that's not. I would.
My mother used to, she would
Bro, you
give
did
a
it.
coconut tree?
I would
My
say
mother
that.
used to, she would
Yeah, not to mention what the people that quit Kamala's staff talked about how she was too.
What about this one? What about this
the-
one? What about this one? I got another one for you.
on the other side of my, the other folks, Trump and his running mate, and they'll talk about, oh, well, yeah, but I do believe in the exception to save the mother's life. Okay, all right, let's break that down, shall we?
Is that not?
Okay, I
Is
got
did
that.
she not have a couple drinks?
I mean, I'm not saying that she doesn't drink at all. What I'm saying is that the people around Hexet are saying that he is a drunk.
And people around
Yo,
Kamala said she
I
was
will believe-
belligerent
No, they
and
did
mean.
not.
I
No,
will
they did
believe.
not.
No, I will believe you if you had a name to tie to the people around Pete Hegseth, because that's what
Okay.
it's always reported. Someone close to the individual reported them being drunk. It's always reported sources familiar with this individual. It's never someone. John Rigby. He said that dude showed up drunk in this at this time, and this time. When I just showed, like,
Yeah.
bro, I called Kamala drunk, and then I showed evidence of why I consider her a drunk.
Not to mention
It's known.
people that used to work for Kamala called her belligerent, which when you drink and you're not drinking, or even when you're drunk, you get very belligerent a lot of times.
Okay.
So the fact that her former staff are saying stuff about her,
Don't
is
you
evidence.
ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power
Well, that's evidence, but
that
this
you
is
did
not
before
evidence.
November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did.
This is not like giving a drunk person. Like, yeah, so 10 people turned current and former Fox employees said that. 2 of those people said on more than a dozen occasions he would.
Can you give me just one name?
No,
I'll
No.
give it to you if you give me one name of
Nope.
people
I
that
don't have
said
a
that
name.
Pete Hegseth was I'm showing up drunk.
I don't have a name. I don't. I mean, you can believe that or not. When you see that he's already in 2 or 3 scandals in the first 4 months of him being there.
Okay, let's talk about the first scandal. Did Pete Hegseth allow that daggone reporter in there?
No, it was the other guy, but he shared the information. He admitted he shared the information to his brother, his
Was
wife.
that information? He shared what information to his brothers and his wife?
The strike locations, I believe, or the times.
You said you had a screenshot of that, right?
No, not that. When I looked earlier, there was no screenshot. He just admitted it.
He admitted to sharing time
He said it
location.
wasn't classified information, but they said it was classified.
No wait, what did he share? What did he share with his
You're
wife?
gonna go
I'm
argue with
confused.
someone?
Pretty weapon?
Share
Yo.
details.
I got one question.
Market
What's
cap.
up?
Who do you think the KKK is voting for? Who do you think white supremacists are voting for?
They're bipartisan.
Oh, they're bipartisan.
No, they're not, dummy. What are you talking about? Bipartisan? The KKK, white supremacists, are bipartisan.
Bro, what the fuck? What is the KKK? What do you consider that as?
The Ku Klux Klan, bro. You don't know what the
How many of
KKK
these
is?
individuals are currently alive right now, or currently exist right now?
Bro, I've seen
Would you
videos of
consider-
white
would you say
supremacists
millions,
marching down the streets of
hundreds of-
They're
Wisconsin,
neo.
bro.
Would
They're
you
neo
consider-
now. They don't go by that anymore.
Stop,
They're
would you-
neo.
Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, Ku Klux Klan members, you do name it, whatever the fuck.
bro, why? You notice that they always show up every 4 years during the election time?
Dude, I cannot believe you're fucking defending Ku Klux Klan.
I'm
You're
saying they're
defending
not-
white
You want
supremacists
me-
now,
did I
really?
did I defend them? What did I say? What did I say?
You over here like, no, they don't really exist. They're this. They're bipartisan. What
That's
are you talking about?
How's that defending them, saying they don't exist?
Okay, so answer my question. Who are the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, white supremacists, whatever you want to call them, Nazis? Who are they voting for?
They're bipartisan. I said that.
No, they're not, brother. What
How
are
many
you
of them-
talking
how
about?
many of them do you know?
You think a white supremacist is gonna vote
How many
for
of them do you
fucking
know?
Harris?
How many of them do you know?
None. Thank God. I want to keep it that way.
But you
How
know
many
how,
do
but
you
you
know?
know how they're voting.
How
though,
many
right?
do you know?
But you know
How
they're
many
voting.
do you know?
They
I don't know
publicly say
any.
it.
But apparently,
How many do you know?
I don't know any. But apparently, you know how they're voting, and you don't know any.
I know one nicknamed.
Dude, what are you
Fuentes.
talking about? Dude, it's so obvious. It's so obvious who they're voting for. They're white supremacists.
Have you ever met a white supremacist in real life?
Shit, nah.
The white
I'll be
supremacist
honest,
is like the racist boogeyman. Bruh, where the fuck is these people
Oh,
at?
they don't exist? White
They're in the
supremacists don't
South.
exist?
Bro, look, this is what I'm saying. They exist, but in small numbers. Are you trying to say the whole police? People say the police is white supremacists.
But who
What
are
pro-
they voting for? They exist. Who are
I'm
they
saying
voting for?
they're bipartisan because a lot of these liberal cities and Democrat cities are not good for black people. Do you think that what is it called? Do you think defund the police is a good thing for black people or in people that live in
No,
poor
dude, the
communities?
question is the left is racist, the right isn't racist.
Yes,
That's the
my
claim that
intention.
you're making.
Every time someone comes up
That's
with
the
this
claim
and,
that you're making.
and talks about it, I make this statement. That is what we call an intention grabber. I'm saying there's racists on both sides. Do you disagree with that?
Yeah, I think that's true.
Have you
I think
ever,
everyone
have
and
you-
anyone of
I have a
all
question.
different races, ethnicities are racist.
Have you ever
I
said
think it's
something
possible.
to like a white liberal? Like they said their political views, and you said something different, and then they attack you personally and start saying a whole bunch of racist stuff.
Nah.
Well, I have. Like you disagree with a white liberal, you'll hear some of the most racist stuff if you're a minority.
I've heard it, but they're not. It's not because you're a minority. It's because it's like you're fighting against.
Why would
the
they say
side,
racist
like-
stuff to you if you weren't a minority?
What did they say? I mean, if they say you're Uncle Tom, I mean that's not I mean, if they're black and you're black, that's not really.
No, they're
I
white.
mean,
I'm
that
saying
is
they're white.
racist, but it's not. I mean, if they're white, then yeah, that's a little racist. But they might not realize that.
No, bro. Do you think
But-
you think they're calling me an Uncle Tom because they think it's not racist?
They're saying it because it's like.
Or what
saying-
about when they call? What
like
about when
they're
they say
saying-
coon? I got the coonskin hat specifically for when they say coon.
Yeah, if a white person says that, I think that is a bit racist.
When they say, "Oh, after the illegals, you're next."
I mean, that's not racist because that's just that's not racist.
That's not
Honestly.
racist.
No,
That's just plain
I just can't get over the
ignorance.
fact that you're defending fucking white supremacists, dog.
I'm not defending white supremacists. What my statement was,
Then
I
who
don't-
do they vote for?
They're
They voted for Trump, bro.
bipartisan.
They
I
did
can- I
not
said this
vote for
multiple
fucking Kamala
times.
Harris. Dude, it's in the name. It's white supremacy. Why would they vote
Do you believe in
for
white
a
privilege?
person of color?
Do you believe in white privilege?
Do I believe in white privilege?
Yeah.
Yes and no at the same time.
Are you? What race are you?
I'm Hispanic.
So you think white people are better than you? Ain't you upholding white privilege because you believe in it?
What are you talking? No. I think that some people that are born into specific class or money groups of people, like the very rich people.
No, stop. You
I
can't
feel
say,
like
you
they
can't
have
say
a lot
money.
more
You
privilege.
can't say
than-
money group or class. You gotta stick on the race because you're trying to say these individuals are racist. If you want to say nepotism exists and people
No, I'm
get
not
hooked
saying
up
that white
because of,
people are racist. I think white supremacists are racist.
do you believe
And
that there's
black people can be white supremacists. Mexicans can be white supremacists.
do you believe that
And those
there's
people
any
are voting for Trump.
Do you believe that people could be racist and not white supremacists?
Oh god, this guy's so.
If you're a
rich.
white supremacist, you're racist.
Can you be a racist without being a white supremacist?
Absolutely.
You're racist 100%. Yeah, you're racist 100% of the time
So,
if you're a
okay.
white supremacist.
Okay, so when the white people on the left do racist stuff, why don't they're not white supremacists, but they're still racist, right?
Yeah.
So but that's okay.
No, it's not okay. Why would that be okay?
So you saying? But I have a question. Who do they vote for?
Who, liberals or like people on the left?
The people on the left that do racist stuff. Who do they vote for?
They probably voting for Trump, bro.
Okay, and the Democratic Party and the Triple K wasn't the militant wing of the Democratic Party
The only
forever.
thing I'm
Like, y'all
trying to
just
argue
didn't
right
switch
now
from burning crosses
is
to
that
Teslas,
the
right?
KKK and white supremacists vote for Trump, bro. They don't vote Democrat.
And the KK
They don't
and the
vote.
Triple K was not the militant wing of the Democratic Party.
I have a question.
The Triple K? Oh, the KKK?
And what numbers do you think the white supremacists?
Like in the fucking
Quick.
like
and what number do you think the
before
KKK exists?
the Civil War? Is that what you're talking about?
Tens of thousands, or like? And what number do you think of today? What numbers do the KKK exist in?
Shit, let me look that shit up, bro.
In the last 20 years, what had name me one person the KKK killed that was black?
Can't
Let me
do
look
it.
that shit up, bro.
In the last, can you do Google the last 30 years? One black person the KKK have killed. Because I don't think these people actually exist no more. Or if they do, they don't exist in the numbers you think they exist in. It's like y'all consider them like the boogeyman, bro. Oh, they're around the corner everywhere, keeping the black man down. I'm like,
No, but you're singling out the KKK, bro. But the KKK are white supremacists.
having
They're
No, I
Nazis.
just brought it up.
Having
They're
Trump
Christian
announce-
nationalists,
Wing of
bro.
the
Having
It's a
Democratic
whole
Party.
whoa,
group of
stop.
them, bro.
Stop by the Christian nationalist. Because what does that mean to you?
Christian nationalism?
Yeah.
It's a group of people that believe that Christianity should be the only religion in America.
Is America not? Wasn't America founded on Christian principles?
No.
It wasn't.
America was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Yes.
I wouldn't say Judeo-Christian principle because there wasn't a lot of Jews back then during the time of the founding fathers, and you can't say Judeo-Christian because one of the key tenets of Christianity is based on Jesus, which which Jewish people reject.
Jesus was a Jew.
Yes, but a lot of the Jews denounced him.
Yeah, that's true. That's why they put him on the cross, bro.
They prefer Pontius Pilate over Jesus Christ. So trying to say that's why me specifically I don't agree with the phrase Judeo-Christian values. Like under that because they have the Talmud or something like that, and we have the New Testament. Or is it Talmud or is that the Muslims? I forgot. They have different teachings in Judaism and Christianity. Because in Judaism it says an eye for eye, but doesn't Jesus say turn the other cheek? They don't follow that principle because they don't follow Jesus. And I got a question. What's wrong with being a Christian nationalist? What's a nationalist to you? Is that just a racist person?
A Christian nationalist?
No, let's focus first on nationalists. What is a nationalist to you? Someone that's just racist towards everybody else?
I want to focus on Christian nationalism.
Okay, let's
because
focus on
nationalism. Anyone could be a nationalist.
So you don't consider nationalism bad?
To be proud of one's nation, not necessarily, no. But to be a Christian nationalist, that's when you start to impede the rights of other people.
How? In what ways? What do you mean by that?
Because if you want Christian nationalism, that means you want Christianity to be the only religion in America. When America is a huge melting pot of all different kinds of religions, ethnicities,
How many religions was going on in America during let's give it a time period, 1776?
I'm talking about present day, bro. In 1776, we didn't even conquer the entire
No, I'm trying to say.
North America.
I'm trying to say
It's pretty much
America
all
was,
Christian.
America was founded on Christian principles. A lot of the founding fathers were
Yes.
Christian, and they said stuff like, "Yo, we have these things because it's for like a religious person, Christian people. It's not just for like irreligious people and stuff like that." And it's not saying, "Oh, if you're a different religion, you got to get out." It's just saying that, yo, America is literally founded on Christian principles. The founding fathers were Christian, and
That's why we have a
influenced them.
separation of church and state, right?
What does that come from?
The separation of church and state.
Don't say the First Amendment. Where did that come from?
What do you mean? What it came from? Like
Where did the
who
phrase
came up with it, or
where did the phrase separate? In what document of America's that formed America do you see separation of church and state?
it's got to be somewhere. I mean,
It's
I know
not.
for sure it's
Separation of church. I think it
Oh,
was.
so there's no
I
separation
think-
of state. There's
No,
no,
it was-
separation of religion.
Can
and state.
I explain it? Can I explain
It's-
to you? Can I explain to you?
Good.
I forgot the exact thing, but it was a Baptist church. I believe it was Thomas Jefferson was writing to a Baptist church saying there was going to be a separation of church and state. That's different from saying that you could use your Christianity or Christian belief to influence how you run a country. It's saying that the government wouldn't come and influence the religion.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
government won't come and influence religion. Someone said the First Amendment. The First Amendment says that we won't establish a religion and we won't keep people from practicing their religion of practicing other religion.
All right, then. So you just proved my point for me that there should be no Christian nationalism
How did I prove your point? I just said that separation of
because
church
the
and state
government
was-
won't impede on someone else's religion. So Christian nationalism won't happen in America.
I'm saying I'm a Christian nationalist, and I'm not saying that's what I believe.
But it's written in our fucking law, bro.
No, if you're trying to say the First Amendment says that,
There's a
the First
separation
Amendment
of
says
church
that
and state.
there is no law that says that. There's no founding documents that say there's a separation. It's not in the Constitution or Declaration of Independence, Articles of
What
Confederation.
about the freedom of religion, bro? That's in the First
is that
Amendment.
one of
Freedom
our
religion?
Yes, freedom to practice your religion, and the government won't establish your religion or prohibit you from practicing religion.
So how does
being
that make
Christian
America
nationalist?
Christian
Listen to me.
nationalist?
I'm saying as a Christian nationalist, you could practice whatever religion you want, but you can't try to say that. Oh, try to bring Sharia law to America. Like, nah, we're not doing that.
No.
Well, it depends on where you're at. I mean, it's in Dearborn.
We're not doing
I
that.
feel like
We're not doing
Texas-
any Sharia law in America. Any.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What
but
does
they
that
are.
have to
No
do-
Christian
what does
nationalists.
that have to do with white Christian nationalism?
Why you say okay?
being-
Why do you include the word white Christian nationalism?
Because
I'm not white.
Because we're talking about racism and it's all divisionism, and nobody wants to recognize that racism isn't inherent; it's taught.
Yes, it is.
I agree with you.
It is a social construct.
I kind of
in which
disagree
people
with
have
that.
Okay, I can understand, but we can just talk about disagreements all day long, but let's make some actual talking points because you're just blurting things out without any facts proving it. You can't say don't say the First Amendment like it is not a founding amendment of our government.
What does the
White
First
Christian
Amendment
separation of
The First Amendment doesn't talk about separation of church. Hey, you muted. I think you got out of the app, so you're gonna be muted when you get out the app, big dog. Separation. Okay, let me pull up the exact documents where that shows up because it was a letter from, I believe, Thomas Jefferson to a Baptist church.
You asked me a question. Allow me to answer it. Let's make
No. I'm just trying to tell you that you were muted. We couldn't hear you, big dog.
okay. So I can talk now, right?
Yeah.
So
Wait. If you just give me a heads up. If you leave the app, I think you just left the app right now. You're muted, and we won't be able to hear you.
Yeah, if you go to look something up, you mute automatically.
Okay, all right.
So we
give me a
can't
sec.
hear you if you're searching shit on
Okay,
your phone.
so I was going to recite the First Amendment word from word, which you can't say dismissing the First Amendment because
No,
at
I'm
the end
not-
of the day, it is. What I'm going to answer to you because you're asking me why I say white Christian nationalism. The answer to that is because what America was founded under, what America proceeded under, what we struggled through is under the pretext of anything that white people as the dominant race in the white culture in European culture is the dominant race and preceding culture in America, what they have imposed onto people in weaker positions. So, yes, we have a founding document, which is the First Amendment, that established this fallacy, which is the separation of church and state. But the dominant culture that exists is white Christian nationalism, in which how slavery, a re-education of minorities have existed and proceeded into this country, and what we're suffering through right now. We're not talking about the founding of the country. Let's talk about what's going on right now. That we have actual like hypocrites in office who are accused of and have been convicted of felonies, of rape, of discrimination.
No, it wasn't rape. It was sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse. Okay, let's.
Bro, stop.
Does that
The Eugene Carroll case? Come on, dog.
No. Let me finish my talking point. Like, you asked me a question, and let me finish my entire talking point, because what we're not going to do is cope in the fact that we have people who are in positions of power who have a long record of abusing systems and then using people's religion or beliefs or culture as a tool to manipulate people for their benefit. And that's what it comes down to. It's not about right or left, not about a Democratic or Republican. We can argue all day long that I'm sure there are Republicans that exist that are not racist, but if you navigate in the benefit as a white American and white superiority that does exist, that if you benefit from that system, although you're not racist, you're operating in a racist system. So with that said, what we're seeing right now is that white Christian nationalism is the basis of what people are using as a tool to do things like skip due process, which is a founding.
Bro, you're saying a lot of stuff,
process.
and I'm gonna forget most of the stuff you're saying, so I don't know. I'm not gonna remember what the question.
Okay,
Can
and
I ask you a couple
it's not my fault
questions?
that you're my teacher's fan, but I'm answering your question that like we can make all these hot topics and talking points. We're not doing
Can I
anything
answer?
but
Can I
feeding
ask
into
you a
the
couple
conversation.
questions? Right?
Yeah.
What do you think that the current Republican Party is a majority Christian?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're like majority Christian. It's that people use their beliefs as a tool for their benefit. We see it even in the Bible, in which the devil uses the understanding of the Bible and God's word as the means to manipulate people further, manipulate and tempt people out of God's path if they believe in that.
Okay.
So it's not like this
Can you say your
unusual
point? Can you
concept
say your
that-
point right quick? Can you say
My
your
point, yes. The point is that making these hot topics, misinforming, and trying to move this goalpost to take away the blame of the people who need
No,
to
the
be
point about the
held
white
accountable.
Christian nationalists. What's your point about the
The point of white Christian nationalism that exists right now is that people are allowing themselves to be fear-mongered into what people choose to do with their own lives, what their fellow Americans choose to believe in, who they believe in, like who they love, what they care about, whatever they connect to. White Christian nationalism is being imposed on fellow Americans to deport them, to dox them, to attack them,
deport
just as
them?
you're doing right now.
Bro, you keep talking
in
about
this-
a lot of random
yeah.
stuff. You're going on like a long ass speech, bro, and I'm
Yeah,
trying to
going
ask,
all over the place.
I'm trying to like figure out what you're trying to say. Like
He's on a typical tangent.
It's not a typical tangent. It's not a typical tangent. What we're
okay.
talking
Can you give me your
about-
main
Yeah.
idea in like 2-3 sentences about white
Okay,
Christian nationalism?
the conversation about what I'm saying is white Christian nationalism is being used as a tool to abuse the systems at B, whether it is the presidential power and the laws that he's imposing, or the policies that he's imposing, or this fear mongering into the deportation of illegal immigrants and
So I got a
sending and
question.
skipping people due process. So yes.
I got a question. So we can't deport illegal immigrants?
I'm not saying no logical person is making the point of not deporting illegal immigrants.
But
What
the
we're
left
saying
is making the
is-
point of not deporting illegal immigrants because they
No,
don't want to get
okay.
their fruits
We
and
can
vegetables
say
might become more
this
expensive.
this is what I'm getting to, and this is why if you pay attention to the details of what I'm saying is that
Bro,
if
you're
you get
going
lost
on
into what I'm saying,
long-ass
well,
speeches, big
no.
dog.
What I'm saying is that people are.
Hey, yo, go ahead, email Jaco.
Yeah, real quick, man. So he's talking about due process. What about all those people that Biden deported and Obama deported, they didn't have due process. He just sent them back. So
as far can you offer any legitimate case
was
in
Obama
which
a white supremacist?
people was being one more time?
Was Obama a white supremacist? Our deporter in chief?
You can't be you can operate in white supremacy.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, he operated in white supremacy. Yes.
Was Obama operating in white supremacy, or is he following the law?
I think that if you use the law as a means to abide by, or use the law as a means to escape the accountability of the choices that you're able to change, then yes, you are operating.
Bro, can you? You're
So
let me
going
off like on tangents, big dog. Like, can you say?
I'm not going on tangents.
When
I'm sorry,
Obama
you don't
deported those
understand.
illegal, was he following the law, or was he using white supremacy?
I
The deporter in
think
chief.
both can be one and the same. Yeah,
you're
yes,
saying
I think that.
So you're saying
Yes, that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm saying
He's
is
not
that
going to say he's a supremacist because of the color of his skin. That is exactly what's going on here. It's all about divisionism, and it's always been about
yes,
divisionism.
that's exactly
It doesn't
it.
matter if you're
That's
black,
the thing,
white,
is that
on the
they
left
use
or
it
on
as
the
a
right.
tool.
They're two wings of the same jive-ass
Exactly.
turkey.
So that's the thing, is it's like if you're a president of a country, you're going to be in a room making decisions that benefits more than likely the leading culture in America, which is white Europeans. So yes, although he's not a white supremacist, and like I think where I get what you're saying, I think that this is like a issue of understanding
Why
that
did the
using white
illegals need to
supremacists.
stay? What rights do the illegals have to stay in this country? What do they get?
What rights do they have? Like,
Why what
he
gives
has
them
the
right to
question a
stay
little bit
here?
better.
Okay, if you come here illegally, what right do you have to stay here?
Okay, so as far as in what our laws exist, is that we do have sovereign laws of people who are
If you come here illegally,
we do have
what
laws.
right
Like
do you
what
have
you're
to stay
saying is like
here?
there's laws. Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that there's laws that protects illegal immigrants. That's why sovereign.
What laws
like,
protect illegal
there's
immigrants?
No, there are
cities
no laws
exist.
that protect illegal
Yes, there. Okay,
immigrants.
Sanctuary
you can't
cities
just say no, they're
are
not,
illegal.
and
That's
not
not.
provide
That's
proof.
illegal.
The word
Okay,
illegal.
do you want me to like look up proof of like the tools in which people can like I will quote this. How about this?
Are you want to use asylum?
Are you going to bring up sanctuary cities and sanctuary states?
Are you gonna bring asylum?
There can be ordinances in places that will work towards protecting them, but there are no actual U.S. laws on the books that say that they can just stay here because they crossed over illegal.
There's
when
no
there
law
are
that's
plenty of
that
people
everyone
that have
stays something in such
visas
a
and
layman's
have come
term.
over
So
the
yes,
right way.
there's an actual process that you can follow as an illegal immigrant to gain at least temporary citizenship.
You talking about
So, yes,
asylum?
that is an option. Yes, that is an
What's
option.
the other
I will quote you laws. Okay, I will literally quote you U.S. codes. I will do the work for you and quote you.
It's just
All right, can you go put this guy in the middle on a timer? Because someone else is trying to talk up at the top.
Real
I'm trying
quick,
to hear what he's
do you know? It's just I had a question for you. Do you know that Richard Spencer endorsed Kamala Harris, and he also asked all his followers to vote for Kamala Harris? Are you aware of that?
I don't even know who Richard Spencer is.
Is Kamala Harris our president? Answer that.
Well,
is
he's
she
one
in
of
a
the
position
he's one
of
the leaders
power
of the Triple
right
K.
now?
Go ahead, finish your Magico.
Yeah, he's one of the leaders of the Triple K, and he endorsed Kamala Harris. Are you aware of that?
Oh, now I know where that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that. Yeah, he did. He endorsed Harris during the campaign.
Quick question for is just Kami. Did Trump denounce white supremacists in the KKK?
Did he announce white supremacy? What did you mean?
Did he denounce?
Denounce. No,
And
not,
he
not
did.
directly. No.
He didn't denounce them
Yeah,
directly.
and he did.
Directly denounced.
He
He never
did
denounced
denounce,
him
and guess
directly.
what? Harris didn't denounce Richard Spencer. Don't believe me? Go look it up.
Doesn't
Just
matter.
And when Harris was asked if
Kamala
she
Harris
went to
is
the
not our
border, she
president
said she
right
didn't
now.
go to
Like,
Europe
type it on
that's
your
what I'm
search
saying.
engine and
It's like
say, did Richard
I think
Spencer
that like
endorse Kamala
we're
Harris?
not we're making this weird
Wait,
like
wait,
adjustment
wait,
of like
stop.
whole.
Stop.
And I'm
Stop.
not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? Across the street,
Did he denounce them?
Nah, hey, host,
In the
Absolutely.
context
That's
of
when they
people
they
who
brought
have
everybody.
committed
The local
violent
host, real quick,
municipality
can you
brought
look up
everybody
what
to
Richard
a
what
fence
Spencer
what the
point,
endorses
question
so
Kamala
they would
Harris?
intermix
he
and
has received funding
right.
from literally
Wait, stop.
white supremacists and militia groups, and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland. Are you prepared to specifically do it? I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing. So what are you saying? I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace. Then do it, sir. Say it. You want to call them? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
White
right
like me to condemn?
Proud supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Waiting for one day where he actually denounced them because he didn't. He said
It's an idea that throws milkshake cups full of concrete.
Okay, people.
Why doesn't any? Does anyone?
Like let's just
Hey,
like
host,
open up
real
into
quick,
our
can you
minds
look
that
up Richard
people.
Spencer endorses Kamala Harris.
There's people
It's on the
out
New York
here,
Post.
there's politicians who double speak. And what we have seen multiple times on record is that we have a record of Donald Trump double speaking. So, yes, he can receive funding by white supremacists, he can receive funding by racist groups. People who come to his rallies and who support him are part of these racist
But
groups.
what's your source on that, bro? Like you're just talking out of your ass.
I will give you sources.
No source
But
that
first,
actual
can I
those
quote
people are
you?
funding
Okay,
it,
I'll
bro.
give you that source. I will do that
As I
one for you.
said,
But
pull
hold
up
back.
a fact.
Okay,
like,
let me
pull up
answer
something.
the question.
In
Let
the
me answer your
strongest
first question.
possible terms, this egregious
Can I
display
ask you guys
of
something?
bigotry and violence
Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
no place in America.
Can you guys hear me? Hello.
What's up? Who's that?
Yes.
This is Map on.
What's up?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. It's just Cammy a question.
Okay, but can I answer the question first off, real quick, about the constitutional protections of illegal immigrants? Because I do have citations of the protections that illegal immigrants do have. If you want to go back into
Go ahead.
proving
Say
that.
what is it? If you just so you know.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
okay, so right to counsel, they have the legal representation in criminal cases, and if they cannot afford an attorney, there will be one appointed to them. Due process, undocumented immigrants are guaranteed due process under the 5th and 14th Amendments, meaning they cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without fair legal proceedings.
What is due
Also,
process for a legal immigrant?
once again, they are. It is a so when you're a legal
Okay,
immigrant, that is a
you don't.
criminal
My bad.
case.
Stop.
Let me
Let me
answer
explain
that.
to you. Let me explain to you real quick. Due
Oh,
process
no,
for.
I'm going
Let
to
me.
know you
Okay,
need to
stop.
answer your question.
Please let him explain the
Because
question.
illegal
to you.
immigrants are committing a crime by coming to the country illegally. That is a criminal case. And in a criminal case that you do something, you break a law, you are offered due process.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I say something? Can I say
So
something?
what does it mean to me is that, yes, in due process, there is also other things such as the use of asylum, the use of immigration laws as far as in marriage and so on, in which people can abide by also giving proof of why they committed that crime, which they are judged by American peers and given that due process of what their punishment will be or their process will be as far as in gaining legal citizenship. So yes,
But
What is do you know what
I'm quoting
expedited?
to you,
Do you know what expedited removal
But
is?
where's
do I understand what expedited what?
Do you know what expedited removal or administrative removal is?
Yes, I do understand that. Yes,
That's when they
completely.
don't go to a judge and ICE is able to prove that they're here legally and they could kick them out, right?
Correct. Okay.
So you admit that they don't need to go to a judge to get due process, right? Because the process that's due to them for them being an illegal immigrant is different than the process for an American citizen that commits a crime, right?
No, I do not agree with that. Just because you're
No, no,
saying
no.
like, just
It's not
because,
that you don't need to agree with it. Is that what the is that what expedited removal and administrative removal is? You don't have to agree with it, but is
yeah,
that what it is?
yes, it could be used in the way of expediting out an illegal immigrant. Yes, correct.
So what he's trying to tell you is that it's still in the parameters of the law that he was deported, and on top of that, what he's also trying to explain to you is that two judges already had ordered him as being removed. So everything that Trump did was actually legal.
And wait. Okay, we want to talk about. I think you're talking about the Abrego Garcia case. Abrego Garcia said filed for asylum about 7 years after he was here, which is not how the asylum process works. It's got to be within the first year you're here, right? So he didn't do that proper thing properly. He had a what is it something of they couldn't remove him to El Salvador. The reason they couldn't send him to El Salvador is because he said he feared the gang violence from the rival gang or other gang. The president of El Salvador have took care of the gang problem. So why can't he go back to El Salvador?
Exactly. That was such a good point.
So yes,
point. Yeah.
that during the time in which he was staying there, yes, there was a threat to his life. So that's why he came to America.
Is there currently a threat to his life now?
So as far yes, there is a threat to his life right now.
From the
let me answer your question. Let me answer your question.
From who?
Do I feel though as if this is what I'm saying, bro? It's like I'm not saying let him back or skip like any process whatsoever. I am saying give the man due process in the sense of that his option shouldn't have been that he was fleeing from gang members.
He got due process in
now he's in
2019
prison with them.
He had 2 deportation orders.
Yeah, he already
standing deportation orders
Why
before
are
he
you
was deported.
defending a
That was
wife
before
beater,
Trump was
bro?
even
That's
in
what I don't
office.
understand, dude. Why are you guys defending a wife beater, dude?
Because all the Democrats do is try to
Hold on. Why were you defending a wife beater? What proof that he had beat his wife?
Bro, there's
his
court
wife filed a
records,
court
bro.
case against him.
Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me.
In 2018, the father of her other kids or some of her kids, one of the kids' fathers said that, "Hey yo, I don't want the grandfather." The grandfather said, "Hey yo, he shouldn't be in there because he's a gang member. He's part of MS-13." He got his due process in 2019 when Judge Kessler said that, "Yo, this dude is MS-13," and we're able to kick him out. He appealed that, and he went to another judge, and that other judge said, "Yeah, kick him out." Do y'all just want these illegal immigrants to be able to pick out fruits and vegetables?
You know what the problem is? The Democrats, all they want to do is try to create some kind of confusion and try to find anything to make Trump look bad because they look bad.
So what I'm saying,
they have no policy.
This is what I'm saying is that
they have no
I
policy.
am not saying let him free. I'm not saying let him do whatever. I'm not saying that I support women beaters. What I'm saying to you is that people deserve due process.
He got due process in 2019. He saw a judge. The judge said we're able to kick him out. He appealed that to another judge. That second judge said we could kick him out. The only issue that y'all could bring up is why you couldn't have sent him to El Salvador. And if you want to say you couldn't have sent him to El Salvador, okay, I'll give you that. But the reason you couldn't have sent him to El Salvador is because he was fear of a gang. If the president of El Salvador have took care of the gang problem, why can't you kick him out right now then? Like he got his he got more than due process than a lot of people. A lot of people, their due process is we're able to say that you're here illegally, expedited removal. We're here to say that you're illegally, administrative removal. Like, come on, dog.
Okay, so
you know what the main problem is?
Wait, stop. Go ahead, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, the main problem is that these liberals guys like this guy here, not to attack him in any way, they're just really they're getting fed the information from the liberal media, where it's just given to them in filters, where it just fits their narrative, and they don't get the full picture like us Republicans, because us Republicans became Republicans because we realized that we were getting the whole picture. And we realize we do our due diligence and research, and it's unfortunate that we have to argue with people that don't have the whole information.
No, what the argument is that due process should not be skipped. This is what I'm saying. Is this like this is not this like thing of like I know all the better or that I had the moral high ground. What I'm saying
Yeah,
to
but you didn't have the information. That's what we're trying to say.
Wait, stop. What is
as
due
far as in this
process?
information
Is
that-
due, wait, stop. Is due process mean that everybody need to see a judge first?
I believe that every person should be given the right to do.
Well, that was
process.
done. But
That's
that was
wait.
done.
First of all, that's not due process. That's not due process for a legal immigrant. They have stuff like expedited removal and administrative removal, which say we don't even need to bring you in front of a judge at all. This is what the law says. We don't gotta bring you to in front of a judge. If ICE is able to prove that you're currently right here illegally and you don't have a reason to be here, you don't have an asylum claim or anything like that, and that you're like you could get kicked out. That's due process. That's the process that's due to that daggone illegal immigrant. They don't go to court like American citizens because
Okay,
they have
so but
different
wasn't
processes
it an
for different
administrative
things.
error though that he was deported? Wasn't that the reason why he was deported? Was administrative error? It wasn't because he was getting.
If you want to say no, he got due process in 2019. I'll say it again.
No.
Judge Kessler said, "Yo, he's an illegal immigrant. He don't have a good asylum claim, and he passed the time to submit a asylum claim because he was here 7 years." And they say that we're able to kick him out. They said that he was part of MS-13. He appealed that. It went to another judge. That judge said, "Yeah, I agree with the first judge that said he was here illegally and he's a member of MS-13." If you want to say that, the judges also said you can't send him back to El Salvador because he had fear for his life. Why did he have fear for his life? Because of the gang. The current leader of El Salvador right now,
Bukele.
Bukele. He took care of the gang problem. So what is that dude fearing for his life for?
Okay, so as far as in your statement about, as far as in what he was given the option for due process, is that what was going on in his actual court case was that he did have a removal hearing, but that is not a deportation order.
No, it was a deportation order. It was a
Wait,
deportation.
stop. What does that mean to you?
They're the same thing. It's semantics. It's semantics.
Because
not semantics.
It's saying you can't get removed you can't go to El Salvador. That's all it's saying, right?
Why does this guy even matter, dude? Like, why does it even matter to you, bro? How is he benefiting your
what
life?
I'm saying, because it's beginning to become
No, we'll never
a
get it.
process that is being abused.
They make no sense.
The process wasn't
bro.
being
They
followed
don't
under
make any
Biden,
sense.
and so you're confused about what the process is now.
We're not talking about Biden because Biden's not our current president, right?
I know. I'm saying no. Stop. I'm saying because the process wasn't followed correctly under Biden, you're under the impression that what Trump is doing is not the correct process.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say to him too. Is like he has the wrong information. He doesn't realize that the last administration dropped the ball on the migration crisis in America anyway, and so Trump is correcting a problem, and they have a problem with that as well.
The immigration laws are the
And then they keep
immigration laws
changing
that Trump passed.
And then you guys keep changing.
There was
hold
no
on.
change of immigration
Can
law.
you stop? Like just because you're talking loud doesn't mean you're making sense. What I'm trying to explain to you is that.
What? Okay, all right.
What I'm trying to explain to you, that your party that you're fighting for, they said that they didn't have an immigration problem. Then when the problem was shown that it was a problem, Trump won the election.
Okay, I don't have I have
Can you let me
a
finish?
problem with how Biden did
Can
his
you finish?
presidency as well. I don't know where you get this understanding that
I'm trying to finish this sentence and you keep talking. I'm trying to explain something to you. Maybe you'll get it. What I'm saying to you is your party kept telling you different narratives. 1 minute they said that there was no problem at the border. Then the next minute they were saying there is a problem and we're handling it. Then they didn't handle it right. And then when it was exposed, they actually lost the election because it was exposed. Then when Trump came in and followed his promises, you guys are changing the narrative again and saying, well, we definitely support illegals. So and you guys never discuss anything about all the victims that have been here in America, like Laken Riley and many others.
People. Yes, we also have the capacity of acknowledging Laken Riley. We also have the capacity of acknowledging victims of any type of brutality or crime committed.
I just don't understand. I don't understand why you're fighting. Why you're fighting a losing battle?
Because it's not a losing battle.
It is a losing battle.
How is it a losing battle when there's people
I'm going to explain to you how it's a losing battle. If I come into your house and it's your house, right, and you're in charge of your house, and you want me to leave your house, and you're in charge, meaning you're President Trump, I have to listen to your rules. So right now, he's in charge of this country. And
Okay,
we
but
have to
we're
follow
also
his rules.
citizens of the country
You
in
see
which
how you don't make any
this
sense?
is a democratic process in which we can be
You-
dissatisfied civilians.
You're not making any sense. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I came into your house and I didn't want to leave, like, what the hell is that? Like,
Because
seriously.
it's not just my house. It's not just Donald Trump's house.
It
This
is.
He's
this
giving
is
an
all of
example,
our
big dog.
country.
Come on now.
I'm giving you an example so
Oh
you
my
can.
God, he's not like he's literally. This is not his country. This is
When,
all of our
when
country.
Biden was in charge,
We voted Trump in charge. We wanted Trump to do this.
Okay,
yeah, that's how
you can-
democracy
okay,
works.
So
Democracy
you can
works.
be a leader. Okay, you can use.
Do you
this
ever
weird
just
personification
quietly
of
learn something?
America as a house.
I'm just trying to
And
let you learn something, man. I'm giving you an example in a small
Okay,
example.
so let me retort to your example.
No, you
then.
don't
So,
do that.
So,
Don't do
so
that.
no, let's
Don't do
retort
that.
to that
I didn't
example.
finish my sentence, and you keep cutting me off.
No,
So don't-
it's like I get what you're saying. I'm
No, you
saying
don't.
to you, I get. I'm not. It's not that I don't understand what you're saying. My retort back
Menace,
to you is
do you
that
have a mod?
Donald Trump is
I don't
not
have
the
a mod.
only person who lives there. I also
need
live
one.
in that house. So yes, there's multiple people who live in that house. A whole country of fucking people who live in a house. And yes, those people also have a voice in a democratic
And that's
process.
why we voted him in.
Democracy to say, hey,
Wait,
I know
stop.
that you as our world leader don't
Can I
like
talk,
something.
man? Can I
Wait.
explain something to you?
We don't have a dictator.
Can you? I'm being very polite here. You
Go
just
ahead,
keep
go ahead,
cutting me
man.
off.
You're not. You're not being polite because
I am. I'm not even yelling at you.
Like no, what you're saying is that
Okay,
just
listen.
as you're dissatisfied when Biden was in charge.
No,
or
listen,
whoever
listen.
is
Like,
in
if you're not going to
charge-
pull a mod, just please remove me. I don't want to mess your algorithm
No,
up.
you're not. You
We're
can
talking
talk
I
too.
leave.
buddy.
Who's talking? Go ahead.
Every-
Whoever that was. go
Everyone
ahead.
can talk.
Whoever that was.
anyone
go ahead. Was
can-
that Tinman?
Yeah, go ahead and talk.
Or
I'm
was
just
that
saying.
Hopper?
I just wanted to finish this argument with
No,
this
wait.
guy.
I added two new people. I haven't given them a chance to talk yet. One of y'all could go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to say I studied law. I have a miniature copy of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And the point of the 14th Amendment was used to citizenize slaves and children of slaves. Then it was taken away and bastardized later on to allow anybody that comes into this country that has a child citizenship. Not what it was meant for.
By
It
the
had taken
Democrats.
it was taking everything that the African American, the FBA community had built in this country, and giving it to everybody else. So the point that bothers me is that everybody wants to say Republicans did this. No, this was all a Democratic push
Yes,
because a
it
lot of
was.
those Democrats
Yeah.
were
What
trade
we're-
partners
the
with the East
conversation
Atlantic.
is, sir.
Sir, I'm gonna let you chill. The East Atlantic Trade Company were the ones, or the East Atlantic Indian Trade Company were the ones mainly predominantly ran by rich people in a certain class that fell under the Democratic Party.
Yes,
They didn't want to
you're
lose
right.
their work. They did not want to lose their workhorses, and that turned into the whole Democratic Party fighting for everything that slavery was.
Yes,
We
you're
we
telling
we
the truth.
push we pushed further to Lyndon B. Johnson, a
Yes.
Democratic president that said, "I'll have these N-words
For
voting
200 years.
Democrat for the next 200 years."
Mhm.
How is the Democratic Party not racist?
Yes, exactly.
I'm a libertarian.
So
I'm not a Republican.
yes, I agree with
I'm
you.
not a
It's going to blow your
Republican
mind.
or a
I'm going to agree
Democrat.
with you. I'm going to agree with you that there are Democratic. There's people who are in the Democratic Party who are racist. I can name a number of them. 100%. I'm not talking about that. I am not talking about or averting any accountability for any Democrat. Nor do I say, as I said before, not all Republicans are racist. I didn't. That's a weird thing that I have to keep defending to like protect somebody.
You don't
by
have to keep
saying-
defending
hold
it. That's the
but like,
thing,
this is
bro.
what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It's like I'm not. What I'm saying is that I and many other people are saying like, hey, yes, there's these antiquated laws that people have abused in both parties for a very long time, that we need to look through a due process. We need to look through by like passing more laws and legislations that protect Americans who are already here, the education system, our like economy, our trade deficit,
stop.
all of these different things.
Are
Like,
you saying
I'm
that
saying
illegal
what-
immigrants aren't getting due process?
That's what he's
not-
saying.
Or do
I
you
am
not
saying
like
right
the due
now-
process that
I'm
they're
saying
getting?
right now that we
He doesn't
are-
like the due process.
Yes, I am saying right now that there are the abuses of immigration law. So just like not just due process, just immigration
What
law,
immigration
like
law is being
students.
abused?
Okay, so say for instance the students at Columbia who was deported or had their
Oh
citizenship.
no.
Does
You're
the
so wrong.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio have the authority to revoke someone's visa?
Using your power in retaliatory use.
Are
does
you
not-
kidding me? Are you kidding me? Have you seen what happened to Trump for the last 8 years? Are you kidding me? Retaliatory? Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you
yes.
really
I got a
seriously
question.
saying
You
that?
didn't answer the question.
Yes,
Does he have
because
the,
the thing is,
does he have the
he's
ability to
all-
remove someone's visa or take it away?
Absolutely.
Yes, just like slave owners had the ability to be slaves, just like people had the ability to like
They
completely
get all upset when
gentrify
you start
America,
confusing the
or
issue
they
with
have
facts.
the ability.
Yeah, they
to
don't- they don't
use
even-
laws.
They don't like that at all.
This is
So
like-
wait. So
this
you
is
don't think it's right to be able to remove someone that's
Do you
in this
think?
country
Okay,
illegally?
let me ask you a question.
Stop.
Let me ask
Do
you
you
all a
think
better
it's
question.
right
Do you
that
think
it's
that
okay
he's
to
doing
remove
it
someone here
perfectly?
illegally? No.
Let me answer this question.
Do you
We didn't
think
even
it's
hear
right?
you.
Do you think we can remove someone that's here illegally? Do you think that's right? Yes or no?
Yes, I think that it's okay to remove somebody who's here illegally.
Okay,
what are
then
you
you then you
talking
have
about?
then you're not talking about anything.
I am okay. Dog.
You can't be contradictory.
You know what? I feel like like this is an echo chamber. You know what? If
No,
you
no,
guys,
not an echo
there's
chamber.
You're the
no
one that keep
improvement-
on. You
It's not an
just
echo
said
chamber.
that.
We're
You
listening to you.
You agreed with us
You're not
just
listening
now.
to anybody else.
No,
You just said that
what
we
I'm saying-
we could be allowed to remove someone here illegally. You agree with that. But when we actually do it, you don't like it.
Yes, because there's false pretext being used as saying
On
that
you.
he's an MS-13 gang member.
No,
Saying that he has
Okay, so the
a
tattoos on his
tattooed on his
knuckles
hand.
don't mean
Okay. Let's say he
Oh
wasn't.
my
Let's say he
God,
wasn't an
dude.
MS-13 gang member. Let's say he wasn't an MS-13 gang member. Was he
But
here
that
illegally?
is like that is like the
No,
cause.
stop.
That's just what I'm saying.
Was he
This
still-
is like
That's
you can't just say somebody's a gang member and then use that as
No,
a term
just
to deport
listen
somebody.
to my point. If he wasn't here, if
No,
he wasn't an
this is
MS-13
weird,
gang
bro.
member,
Like, why are you
was
using
he
these weird codes?
still
That's not what's
here
happening
illegally?
right now.
Was he here
Huh?
illegally? Was he here illegally?
God, there's a lot of people here illegally, dog.
And they're
it's
getting
not
them all
arguable.
out. They're getting them all
Okay,
out.
and
So
what
what's
I'm
your
saying
point?
is that what is the pretext of what they're being saying through the executive branch? What is the actual speaker of the executive branch is saying? What is people saying that is representing Republicans is that this person is an MS-13 gang
And he
member. They have
is.
MS-13 tattooed on their hand.
And he does.
Where did they get that from?
Oh my fucking God.
Where did they get that he was an MS-13 gang member from?
Just got him on.
Well, they
I-
have gotten some informant that has not been named or given any context of who
No,
exactly they are because
no, you're mistaken. I'm sorry. Let
It
me
was
tell you what
Judge
happened.
Kessler. Do you know Judge Kessler, the immigration judge? I'm gonna say it again. Judge Kessler, the immigration judge at the time that was in charge of his case, said that there was enough evidence to say that he's a part of MS-13 and that he
Okay,
could
what
be
is the
and that he
evidence?
could
What is
be
the
removed
evidence?
from.
That's what I'm saying,
Okay,
like,
one of the
there's no
things.
evidence
One of the things was like
presented.
some of the people that he.
There's
the
no
people-
evidence presented.
The
What was the
people,
evidence? Can
he
you
was
give me
found with
evidence? Cite
MS-13 gang
evidence.
members. He was found with
Wait a minute.
MS-13 gang members.
Evidence, dog.
You don't ever let anyone talk, man. You don't ever
Cite
let
the
anyone.
evidence.
Was he
You can't
found?
talk like that, man.
Was he
you
found
can't
with
have
Cite the
MS-13
evidence,
gang
dog.
members?
Yes, as a question,
Was he
cite the
found?
evidence.
He was found with MS-13 gang members. He had the money. He had the money in his pocket that had the eyes and ears crossed out, which is the stuff that MS-13 gang members use. The judge said that they had a credible informant that they have used many of times before that said that they trust to say he was an MS-13 gang member. When his case was appealed, the second judge said that he was an
hearsay.
MS-13
No,
gang
you
member.
just like you like this is what you're saying.
This
that
is the
there was
judge.
A single
He had due
informant,
process.
unnamed
When he
informant.
went to court,
think-
no
when-
pictures.
he went to
There's
two
no-
I think
separate
we're wasting our
judges.
time. I think,
Was there pictures?
He was
I
on
think
the-
we're wasting our time.
He went to
we're wasting
two
our time with
separate
this guy.
judges, dog. He saw
Menace,
two.
Menace.
No.
That doesn't mean
Hey,
anything. Like, oh my
Menace,
god.
this
No,
guy
no.
is worthless, man.
Bro. So
He
I have a
is
question.
so lucky I'm not a mod because I would have deported his ass already.
If he was,
Yeah, this guy-
I got a
this
question.
guy is
If he wasn't,
worthless,
if
man.
he was a part of MS-13, can we still kick him out? Yes or no?
If he was a part of
If
MS-13,
he was
yes.
not a part of
If there was
MS-13,
given actual
no, stop.
legitimate
If he was
citable
not a
evidence,
part of MS-13, like not a part at all, had no connections to MS-13, are we allowed to kick him out?
we are allowed to. Correct. Yes.
Because he's
But-
a legal immigrant.
Okay, but what is the pretext of why?
Oh my God. This
what
guy
they
is-
say
Oh my God.
This guy is a waste of a whole conversation, man.
Okay, I understand
it's
that. I
entertaining.
think that I
It
think
feels
that
like
we
he's
can all have.
filibustered, if anything else. It doesn't seem like he's giving a good faith argument. Because first he said,
No.
like, first he
There's
tried to
no
say,
debate.
oh, these old laws that we have are wrong. And then he said, yeah, I agree, we should be able to kick him out. You just spent
Menace.
like 5
I
minutes.
what I'm
You know-
saying
you
is
know-
that there's laws that exist that
you-
people can use to use deportation
Asylum.
as an
He
option
was-
or tool to get rid of people. Yes, I'm not saying
Okay.
that I agree with it. Do I
You
feel
don't have
that
to
these
agree
laws
with
are
it.
antiquated? Yes. So there's not a contradictory statement.
So they didn't.
dog.
You don't have to-
So we didn't. There was nothing illegal done. We followed. We gave
fuck,
them
you
due
guys are
process.
uneducated.
There's something not registering with you. Like honestly, you're not understanding things, man. Like seriously. There's something wrong with that guy. Like honestly, he's not registering information. Like there's information being presented to you and you're not letting it register, and it's a waste of conversation. In all actuality, if I'm in charge of the house now and I have rodents in my house and I have bunny rabbits in my house and I want the rodents out of my house, I'm gonna get rid of the rodents first. The bunny rabbits that are legally there, they're gonna be leaving too. But the rodents gotta go. You know, and in all actuality, the way that his argument is, it's just the same narrative that they keep pushing to just try to cause discourse with everything that Trump's doing, which is amazing. Like there's absolutely no evidence of him being racist. He's absolutely a patriot. He's born on Flag Day. There's so many wonderful things about Trump that he's done for this country, including these tariffs that are going to be wonderful. And in a matter of months, you're going to see the amazing outcome of this, because we're actually going to be able to have production in this country, and the GDP is going to be through the roof. But Menace, I do
I
appreciate
don't know about production. We were kind of screwed on production when NAFTA came around. I mean, I remember being 19 years old saying, we're not going to have any manufacturing in this country. We're so screwed. We're being sold down the river with NAFTA. And all I got was, the OJ trial's on.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. No, you're right, though. He's right.
Wait, stop. Yo, quick thing. Future 3131, what's up?
Yeah, you're right, though.
How you doing, man? I'm 53. I'm from Alabama. I voted for VP Harris.
You voted for why you voted for Harris? Can I ask that?
Because I'm a Democrat, and I never take sides with the Triple K on the Republican side.
I got
Never.
a question for you. How
Do you
many
know the
how many of the Triple K people will you consider are still around today? Like millions, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands? You said
Millions of them.
you said there's millions of people that's KKK right now?
Yes, sir.
Why do you say that?
Million. Because you're not wearing a hood around in broad daylight and terrorizing people at nighttime doesn't mean you're part of an organization.
Okay, I got a question. Do you say that the people that say, "Oh, we need illegal immigrants here. We're not giving them a pathway to citizenship, so we could have people that could pick our fruits for cheap"? Do you consider that as part of the KKK?
No, sir.
Why don't you consider that as part of the KKK? Having a second class, a permanent second class citizen that you use for like cheap manual labor
and votes,
Sir, I'm willing to bet you a house note. You can't find one illegal immigrant voted on a federal level, sir.
Oh, stop.
Oh, yeah.
No, wait. Let me explain it. They don't. Let's not say they don't directly vote. I'll give you that. They don't directly vote. But when you increase the population of people with using illegal immigrants, you give them more electoral votes, right?
Yeah, electoral votes. Yeah.
So they get represented. They get more like they said that if you remove all the illegals from California, they'll lose about 2 or 3 like House or Senate seats, right? No, House seats. So
Yeah.
they don't literally like cast a ballot to vote, but they get a vote because they get more representation because of the illegals that come over that to particular state. When they try to pass the law that said we're gonna ask people their citizenship status when we do the census, they said that they didn't want to pass that law because states like California wouldn't get as many votes.
What
You
about
know,
state
you
of
know,
Texas,
you
sir?
know that future. You're also under the false belief that the Republicans are the racist party when you don't really know your history and you don't really know that the.
Sir, I know more history than you
No,
probably, sir.
I'm just telling you, you don't, because if you did, you wouldn't have said that. Because honestly, the Triple K was created by the Democratic Party. The
Yes,
Civil
sir.
War. The Civil War was. Hold on, I'm talking. The Civil War was fought because the Democrats did not want to let go of their slaves. Like, let's be honest here. The slaves ran to the north, which was Republican. The Republican Party was created in a small church in the South, and they were created and they actually had 2 black congressmen before they had the president of Abraham Lincoln. If you know your true history.
Okay, then.
So you've really been bamboozled and led astray by the Democratic Party, like so many other black people.
Okay, let me know when I can speak, sir.
I mean, you can speak, but you can also learn too.
Okay, then. Well, it's time to teach too. I can teach also
You
too.
can't teach because you're wrong.
Why did Lincoln fight against the South during the Civil War? Why?
To keep the Union together.
Okay, then, and the only reason he fought the South.
Wait. Can I ask you a question? Are you trying to say that Lincoln freed the slave or did the Emancipation Declaration because he was trying to harm the South?
That was the only reason that Lincoln went to war with the South, because he wanted to keep the Union together, and the deal was that he would free the slaves on top of that. If not, he never would have freed the slaves, sir. Lincoln wasn't no advocate of freeing those slaves, sir.
No, I never said he was an advocate. I said he was the first president of the Republican Party, and I did not say that. And actually, if you do know your history, there were thousands of white people that were called abolitionists that were fighting to free the slaves before the 13th Amendment came about. You have to really know your history, though. And they were from the North.
Sir, I know all this.
Well, if you know all this, they were all from the North. They were all Republican.
Sir, I don't know what you think you're trying to teach me.
Well, I'm just saying why, knowing all this information, and why are you still fighting so hard for Kamala Harris, who was trying to jail Michael Jackson, was trying to keep people in there in prison when they were not supposed to be in there so they could fight fires, was trying to make people that were accused of murder, if I can say that, and they were accused of that, and they were proven to be innocent, and she would hold them in jail just so she could do that. And then she also has ties with the cartels. I don't know if you know that as well, but these are things you should know before you start defending people.
Okay, then. Let me know when I can speak.
You can speak.
Okay, and thank you, sir. First off, what Kamala Harris done as a DA and a Attorney General of a state is not nothing now another DA or Attorney General has done to people that was incarcerated, sir. Judges have done this. So don't go pointing no finger at one person and think she's the only bad person to do this.
Well, I mean, you're pointing the fingers at Trump. You're pointing the fingers at
Let him talk. Let him finish. Go ahead.
I'm not telling you more.
Don't go pointing no finger at one person when the whole justice system is being corrupt and been like this for years. Black people have suffered up on our judicial system in every state, under every DA and every prosecutor to ever work in that position, sir. So don't point no one finger at no one person.
Okay, well,
I'll say she's a bad person.
Okay, well, listen. To add to that conversation that you're having, and I hope you're not taking this the wrong way, but you do remember that her administration, as she became the vice president, her administration, which was with Joe Biden, who was also known to be cool with David Duke, and also was the one that wrote the crime bill. And also promised all these things for black people. The whole 4 years didn't do anything. Before that, Donald Trump actually freed thousands of black people with the First Step Act. If you do know your history. No, I'm just saying the people you're defending are actually against the people that you are defending were the people that actually caused mass incarceration and kept that same thing that you hate. They perpetuated it. So my question to you is still, why did you defend people that really have no interest in you, but just using you as a token?
Sir, because the reason I vote for people like that, because when I looked at it,
I don't think you heard what I said.
we had a black woman reported to the Supreme Court by another Democrat for some reason. We had a House leader.
Quick question. Who was the black person that was already there? I believe he was appointed by Bush.
Yeah,
Bush. Terrence, forgot his name. Clarence Thomas, right? Wasn't he black?
Clarence Thomas.
Was he?
Yeah, and Joe Biden attacked him the whole time. Joe Biden attacked him and tried to get him out of there.
I know.
Joe Biden hates black people.
Just like every Republican during the confirmation hearing, Miss Jackson say that she wasn't educated to be in that position.
They asked her what was a woman, and
She didn't even know what a woman was.
She couldn't
didn't even
answer
know
what was a woman. I got a question for
Like-
you. Hey, yo, quick thing. Future 3131. What is a woman?
My wife sitting in the room. They had my 4 kids.
Now, but what is a woman though?
What is
the
a woman
definition?
in general? What is a woman?
I don't know your definition of it, but in my definition, that it's the woman sitting in that back room back there that had my kids.
Would you consider? Is that? Do you mean
Because
adult
I know-
human? Do you mean adult
see
human
only woman
female?
give birth.
Do you mean adult
Say what?
human? Do you mean adult human female?
Okay.
If that's your definition of it, that's your definition of it, sir.
Would you consider that as an accurate
I
definition?
don't understand why is this a real genius question to ask somebody.
No, stop. No, you said that the Republicans were saying that she was like dumb, right? That was the question that they were asking her, and she couldn't answer that question. It's a simple answer to the question. It's obvious. That's all.
Who would
That's
lower
just,
the intelligence level to ask a dumb question like that? Answer
it's
a dumb
not a-
question like
it's,
that.
Bro, how is it? It's not a dumb question
but it's a
at the
simple
time.
answer.
When people say, "What is a woman?" They'll say, "A woman is anyone that identifies as a woman," and they'll say, "What is that they're identifying as?" And they'll say, "A woman." Now, then they'll say, "Define woman without using the word woman," and then the person was like, That's why they asked. That's why they asked that question. It's a simple, easy answer question. It's a layup, but because of her,
You don't get two intelligent people in a conversation and be one the question that's asked to each other.
Well, my thing to you is my answer to that real quick is a woman is a woman that has a womb in their stomach that can give birth to a child. A person that has a womb and they're genetically their physical body is made so that they can actually give birth to a child. That is a woman. They have a womb. It's in the word. And you can't just throw on a wig and say you're a woman. I can put a wig on ET and he's not a woman.
Any person, any man or woman with some common sense would know the difference, sir. But like I said,
stop.
But there's nothing common about sense.
Wait,
That's the whole point.
Stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Currently, right now, they're saying that the T's
George,
are
you're
women.
right. George, you're right, George.
Yo,
George,
Future,
you are right.
Future, do you consider the T's as women? The Transformers, the Transformers, the transmissions.
Yeah, the transmissions.
if they weren't born outright by Mother Nature or God with the woman generic makeup, no, I don't consider them a woman.
Okay, then
Thank you. Then you
I
have
agree with you
common
on that. I
fucking
agree with
sense.
you on that. We have found
Right.
common ground on that. But that's the question that she couldn't answer because she didn't want
Right,
to answer
so-
that question because of how her party would attack her if she said the correct answer.
Exactly.
That's why they question her
placating to her
intelligence.
face.
I just wanted to get that out real quick. But go ahead, continue. My bad for
said-
cutting you off.
I just want to say one more thing real quickly that a lot of people don't realize the agenda of the Liberal Party has moved and shifted all the way to a fascist organization that resembles the Smazi organization where they destroy countries from within by causing this kind of confusion about gender and all of that. And it also, when you talk about the Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood, that is actually meant to actually destroy historically the black race. So it's like I don't understand why black people was so behind the Democratic Party when it was right in their face that these people were trying to create genocide and stop generations from being born.
I can answer that question for you.
Can I speak? Can
I
I
can
speak?
answer
Can I-
it
Oh,
for you
George,
real
George,
quick.
go ahead and
vote
say
for
it.
that?
Future,
Can I
hold
vote
on.
for
George
that?
is talking. Hold on.
I can answer that question for you. Give a man the illusion of freedom, and he'll fight to the death to protect his cage.
Absolutely.
We draw lines in the sand that could easily be washed away by the tides, yet they stand as long and as strong as mountains because that's the way that we make them, because that's how we were taught to do it. We're divided by sexism, racism, politics, and just straight up divisionism. And we've gone so far from center that common sense is treated as an affliction, not a life choice.
Absolutely. That's amazingly. That's so profound right there.
Let me ask you something, brother.
Absolutely, George.
Since you've been a mega supporter, sir, when is I'm going to see y'all guys representing the mega voters?
You know what? You know what? No.
I'm talking about a cabinet position.
I don't even know.
I got a question. Who was
Go ahead, man.
what is it? The Department of Urban Development. Is he not black?
Yes, exactly.
The person,
the lady that's in charge of the people getting pardons is black.
Everything to do with Donald Trump got to do something with black folks that going to jail.
No,
Are
stop.
you kidding
me?
me?
Stop right there. The first step that helped freed a lot of black people. The person, the head of the Department of Urban Development is black.
He's the first president to ever free somebody. He's the first president to ever free somebody, right?
Biden is the one that wrote the crime bill, the '94 crime bill.
I don't think. I'd like to touch on something that you said earlier.
Who asked the Democratic Party to write this bill?
Are you kidding me? Like,
yes, yes. Let me laugh along with this.
You don't even know what you're saying. Like, honestly, that was Trump that did that. Trump is the one that freed black non-violent offenders, and so many people came.
He's the first president to ever do that, right?
I got a question. Do you know who this brother is?
Or he the first president to ever do that? That's what I asked.
I got a question. Do you know who this person is?
Let the guy answer the question. Don't speak for him, sir.
No, stop. This dude's in Trump's cabinet. A black guy.
He's actually an ex-football player.
NFL football player, played for the Cardinals.
You just said that there's no black people in his cabinet, and that for some reason that's supposed to be a big thing about it. Like, come on.
George had something to say.
You take one of the smartest men. You take one of the world's smartest men in medicine, and you take him out his field and put him over hood, and how do he benefit people?
Okay, look, Future, hold that.
I just asked you a question. So I know you didn't answer my question. I'm talking to the other
We're talking about that. Who we talking about?
Future.
You talking about the same person?
Carson.
Hold on.
Ben Carson, one of the smartest human beings to walk this earth. You take him out of his element and put him over HUD housing. And how do
He's
he?
not in charge of HUD housing.
His profession.
Ben Carson's not in charge of HUD housing.
I think he did that.
Not now, sir. I know this. I'm talking about doing Trump first term.
That didn't happen, sir. That didn't happen.
Okay, what was Ben Carson was the only black Trump administration his last go round. And what did Ben Carson fit in at?
Can I ask you a question, though? Can I ask you a question? Because George wanted to say something. But can I ask you a question?
You can't never answer.
Your party. Hold on. Imagine I gave you the keys to my car. Like, I gave you the keys to my car, and you drove my car. And then when I found out about my car, it was wrecked. It was destroyed. Okay. And then someone comes along and gives me my car back after it's completely being repaired, and I start getting mad because they're repairing my car. That's what you guys sound like. You guys are the ones that destroyed this country.
You can't talk.
Hold on. You keep over talking. I'm saying you guys are the ones that destroyed this country. And then you guys are sitting here saying that you're mad that someone's fixing the country. It makes absolutely no sense. But George wanted to say something, so hold what you're saying. Let George talk.
I can give you a better example than that real quick. Okay, Detroit, 1943. Hiroshima, 1943. Detroit, 2025. Hiroshima, 2025.
I asked you a question, sir, and you still yet to.
What's your question?
What's that have to do with anything? It's all Democratic-run cities.
What was your question?
I asked you. You take one of the smartest men to walk this planet. He's a neurosurgeon expert, and you put him over HUD housing. How do that benefit his profession?
No, he should have been the Surgeon General. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I could give you that. I'll give you that. But the thing is,
for the fifth time.
But you got to understand something that happened in the first administration, and actually Carson asked for that position. Ben Carson asked for that position.
He deflecting.
How am I deflecting? If someone asked for that position, that's what he asked for.
He felt that's where he could do the most good.
Position, sir.
You're being crazy. Like
what was
if I come
Ben
to, if I
Carson
go
was
to
in
a
like
restaurant.
what was he, a senator or like some governor or something?
He was nothing.
No, he was a
the head
doctor.
of
He was just a
HUD.
doctor. He was a doctor that was running for president.
He didn't have a political office before he was the head of
No,
government.
no, he didn't. But the thing I'm saying, Menace, is that think about this for a second. If I go to a restaurant and someone gives me a menu of options, I'm gonna pick what I want. You guys are mad. You're mad, Future, because he chose to do that. That was his choice. He wanted to help the black community in their housing. He felt that that's where he can do some help. And in all actuality, if you do know about that, what he did was amazing during the first term, because Trump actually gave him a blank check to do everything he wanted to do. And it was helping out. It actually made it a lot of businesses thrive in the black community. You got to really know your research before you start.
I remember that, sir. I remember that. What was that? What was that thing he passed?
You got to really know your information before you debate people.
Yes, I do. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm finna answer the question for you. See, I'm not.
How is
afraid
that a bad thing, though? I just don't understand it.
Okay, then. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm gonna ask you a question. When Trump signed in, I can't think of the name of this bill. What it was about the houses, not the houses, but the business opportunity in the black neighborhoods, sir.
Opportunity zones.
That's it, sir. You're sure right. Not one corporate America or international business invested in these opportunity zones. Not one.
We could just Google
Not
that.
one, sir. Not one. Walmart, Feline, Nike, Apple, Amazon, Tesla. Not one corporation in this country invested in an opportunity zone. But you know what did happen, sir? Do you know what really happened, sir, to the opportunity zones? Land sharks came in there.
Go ahead.
Land sharks came in and brought a lot of this property up and raised the housing and the business for people to go in and try to open up shop, raise the rent on these shops and homes in these communities. That's what happened, sir.
They ushered in gentrification.
Well, but like I say, so other than Trump freeing or letting some black folks out of jail early, was he the only president to do that, sir? I asked you that question, you yet to answer.
Was he the only president to do that? No, he wasn't the only president.
Thank you. That's why I wanted Map to say, but Map can't answer that question.
I got a question. I got a question. You said you voted for Kamala, right? What did you want Kamala to do for you? Why did you vote for her? I think you already answered that. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't want no president to do shit for me because I'm able to manage and do it on my own, sir.
Then why did you vote for Kamala? Why did you vote for
people
Kamala?
Why did I vote for Kamala? Because I know if Kamala would have got in office, she was gonna put some African Americans, some Latinos Americans, some Asian Americans, and some white Americans in the right position to help out the people that lives in America. It wasn't gonna be no 95% white Caucasian men running this country. It wasn't gonna be that. This is a diversified country.
I got a question. What did Kamala under the Biden and Kamala administration? What did they do so good that you wanted to give your vote to Kamala?
Yeah, okay. That's a good question.
First off, they recovered the country. They recovered the United States recovered faster than any other modern day country in this country when it came to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay,
we recovered faster.
Stop. There were states that were locked down longer than other states. You can't say the whole country recovered faster. We have Florida that was led by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis.
I said our country, sir. I said our country rebounded faster than any other nation on earth.
What you mean by rebound?
Rebound, that means got our economy back up and running, put food in people's homes,
That's
and
not
send
a
people.
fact. Why are you lying on here? Like
Then we
you
have like
can't
the high.
debate.
Didn't like
I'm
like
lying.
wait.
I'm lying.
Okay, when
I'm lying.
when did you
I
say?
agree with you. I'm lying.
Stop,
Now
stop.
tell me what country recovered faster than we did.
When did you
Well,
say?
first of all,
Wait, stop,
Switzerland was the first.
Stop. Quick question. When did you say that the country rebounded? Like 2022, 2023?
2022, sir. We was
like at 9% inflation rate?
Yes, sir. We was. But
That's the highest. Isn't that like that's the rebounding having the highest
that was not the
inflation
highest
rate?
in the world, sir. That was not the highest in the world.
I didn't say highest in the world. I said the highest for us. Before Biden got in, what was the inflation rate?
Look at your comments at the bottom, sir. Look what your folks saying at the bottom, but that what Future's saying.
Future,
All
that's
this is
true compared to the rest of the world. Yeah. Okay. What did?
okay,
stop. I'm saying he said that. Okay. What was our
What about
inflation
New
rate? He
Zealand?
said it was 9%. When did it get back down to normal?
Yes, sir. Listen here. Our country's in a total disaster. Our what's count rate went up to 9.4%. I think that's the highest it got. Within a year and a half of 2022, within a year and a half, it dropped from 9.4 down to 2.3.
Can I say something to you, Future?
I
I'm
didn't
so
even get
sorry.
up there. When Trump was in office, it was at like 1 point something, right? That's what he
1.7. 1.7.
Trump gave Biden 1.7. How did Biden get up to 9 in under like about a year or two?
Okay, then listen here, sir.
I can answer that.
Before Trump left office in
From the
2020,
U.S. aid and all the stealing.
golly.
Hey, yo, let him finish. Go ahead, Future.
Okay, then. When we got word of this pandemic that was spread in 2020, sir, even though the inflation rate was at 1.9, sir, when we got word, Trump went in there and Trump started printing money, $4 trillion in 1 year that was put out in the general public. $4 trillion. Now, what do you think if the American people all the people in America is all of a sudden hit with $4 trillion?
Menace, you gotta stop letting this guy lie, man. He's not saying any facts. Like, honestly.
Okay. So Biden didn't give the people money either?
Sir, like I say, this guy doesn't want to hear me, and I was going to get to that point. Listen here, Biden is not my. I don't worship Biden. If Biden got some faults, I'm going to call it out. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like this guy Trump is a God gifted man.
I'm not saying he is. I just said between
Trump,
one of the
the
choices
first
we
one that he's an
had,
asshole.
I prefer Trump. I'm not saying Trump is perfect. I'm not saying Trump is God's gifted man. I'm just saying, we had two choices, and I'm like, it was kind of obvious what the answer was to that test. That's just my personal opinion.
Anybody who rides at the center has to choose between the lesser of two evils.
2020, sir.
Well, it's not even that bad. Can I say something?
Hey, go ahead, Future. Go ahead.
When Trump was first in office, and he destroyed a great economy. He got from Barack Obama. He destroyed.
That's what I'm saying. I gotta cut you off there. You keep lying. Like, that's not true.
Hey, no. You can just answer. Do the rebuttal after he said what he said. Okay.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
He got a great economy from Barack Obama. That was in 2017. By the end of 2019, that's 2 years. At the end of 2019, the housing market went through the roof because Trump went in there and Trump started to with the housing market and put tariffs on the lumber from Canada. And the lumber in America shot through the roof. He tried to make a deal with the Saudi Arabia to cut down 2 million barrels of oil a day, and the gas prices went through the roof.
That is exactly the opposite of how it works, sir.
No, it's like
supply and demand. The bigger the supply, the less the demand, the less things cost. That's why tariffs are driving down the cost of oil, making it so Russia can't continue their objective the way that they have, because oil is one of their chief exports. That's just a little side note that we're getting from the tariffs that were put in by Orange Man Bad.
And a lot of people don't understand. Like, at the time that Trump was in office, I was doing sales, and all we had to do was import things from China and from Taiwan, and the tariffs actually did make things worse for a little while. But once they settled down, we actually chose other countries to import from that were actually better products and much cheaper. And in all actuality, the economy was booming under Trump. The only thing that caused Trump to even spend money, it was emergency funding for the COVID relief and helping out other countries as well. He was doing so many things with those insulators or whatever those things are called to help people breathe. Ventilators, yeah. And honestly, a lot of people, even Trump was skeptic. Even now, people are skeptical about whether or not like that was either a hoax or anything. Like, why the hell did we even have COVID? And honestly, when Biden came in, let's be honest, Biden had a great economy. If you want to argue the fact that Obama gave a great economy, Biden had a great economy and ruined it. And in all actuality, we got into a point where all he did was help out Ukraine, and he was also corrupted for being involved with Ukraine, with Burisma and a lot of other things that can be seen from the laptop from hell. And that was also another reason why Trump didn't win the election in 2020, because of the fact that they suppressed all this information. And we really do know the gas prices were soaring all through Biden's administration, all through the 4 years. He never helped anyone in Maui. He never helped anyone in North Carolina. He was only helping Ukraine. And there's just no facts that you're saying about how you're talking about the good things that they've done. And when you talk about Harris, there's absolutely nothing. She was never being seen the whole administration. And your answer is always going to be, well, she's a vice president. She doesn't do anything. There honestly was nothing being done, and everything she said was a word salad. There was nothing but a bunch of words jumbled together, and they never made any sense. And all you guys say in the Democratic Party, and I'm going to land my plane, all you guys say is, I hate Trump. You don't have any policies, and there's no choices for Americans that have common sense but to say, I'm going to go with Trump again because he did it right last time. And again, I'm going to say this again. Michael Jordan missed shots too. Like, no one's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, you can't keep scrutinizing every time someone does something wrong. People try things, they make mistakes, they see what works, and that's how they learn. That's how business works. That's how everything in the real world works.
Well, I got a quick question for you. You said, okay, you said that Trump inherited Obama's economy, right?
Yes.
Okay. At what point did the Trump's economy become did the economy he inherited from Obama, when did it become Trump's economy? Like 2017, 2018, 20, at what point would you say?
October 2018.
So you're saying around
everything that Trump put in place, every policy that Trump put in place when he came in office, it took effect in 2018, October 2018.
Okay, see, this is what I'm gonna say, right? I would say that like Trump was trying to do more than some of the stuff he did, because it was gonna take a lot longer than like between 2017 to 2018. Because first thing he had to do was like what was it? Well, I forgot my train of thought. Damn. First thing he was trying to do was he was trying to like cut taxes and like reduce taxes for businesses to incentivize them to invest in America. And then after he does that, he was gonna try to cut the prices of import oils for of energy, so we would drill, increasing the supply of daggone energy, right? But a lot of stuff he wasn't able to complete in the full term because the COVID stopped all that. The experts at the time, Fauci, was saying that we need to shut down the economy and close the economy. So if you're saying we need to shut down the economy and close the economy, that's gonna have a bigger effect when we didn't really need to shut down the economy. There was only certain groups of people that were like high risk that should have been quarantined and like people kept away from them. Like, we could have kept the economy going like regular, but because like we didn't have to shut down the schools because kids were like didn't really bother unless they had pre-existing conditions. Like most people that was like if you weren't overweight, had diabetes or any pre-existing condition, you was pretty much gonna like survive. It had like a 98-99% survival rate. It was only the people it was mostly the elderly. So if we didn't shut down the economy and he was able to continue the stuff like the tax cut in conjunction with that daggone the lower energy demands, people will be able to invest in the economy more and have more people like to help create a better economy. But the response to COVID, it was the part that would say kind of hinder some of the plans that Trump had for the economy. Would you agree with that?
Can I add to that real quick?
I want to see what he's gonna. I want to see his opinion. Then you could go. Okay. What's your opinion about that, Future?
Okay, then you guys got this real bad habit want to blame something on Fauci. At the end of 2020, before 2021 come in, how many people did we lose? Americans did we lose due to the C-19? How many guess how many people we lost?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. But one thing you got to factor in, if you had COVID-19 and you was in a car accident, they'll consider that a COVID-19 death because hospitals gonna get more funding for COVID-19 death.
Yeah,
So
they were getting incentives. Yep.
but I don't know off the top of my head. But continue, please. But I don't know. I don't know. But I said there's more. But it was a fact that there's more under Biden.
And I wanted to do
He
a
had
side
3
note,
slugs in his
but,
belly. He died of COVID-19.
yeah, that's what they were doing. And honestly, I just wanted to say this because I noticed that we're dealing with something that is a narrative too, where they say that he's fascist and all that. The only fascist I've been seeing is the Biden administration because they were censoring people. They were forcing people to get the vax. They were forcing people. They were actually calling people terrorists if they were not abiding by their COVID rules and all of that. They were actually making people in Minnesota, I think it was, wherever that guy that was running with. Who was that guy that was running with Harris? What's his name? Waltz.
Yeah.
Waltz was walking around the street with police shooting people. They were shooting people with some kind of pepper guns and stuff, like making people stay in their houses. And that's all fascist. And I mean, honestly, that's what made a lot of Democrats leave the Democratic Party because they saw that this is the one that's saying that they're fascist when they're the ones that are fascists. And you got to realize that it's okay for you to love a company like Democrats or a name brand like the Eagles. You can love a team, but if they're not doing the right thing, you got to say it and call it for what it is. Like if someone trades your favorite player, your team is not the team anymore. The liberals have gone way too far to the left, and they've actually done everything that they claim that Trump is doing. They're the ones that have done it.
Well,
They've actually fired people. They fired people because they wouldn't get vaccinated. My wife was fired. You got to be realistic and be honest when you say these debates. Like, you're defending someone that is a complete liar. The Democrats and Harris and all of them, and don't even talk about Hillary Clinton. Like, seriously. Everyone that she touches dies. Like, seriously.
What was the unemployment rate before C-19? Was it like 3.5%?
Yeah.
It was like 2 something. Yeah, it was not even 3 something.
It was 2 something, right?
It was like 2.7.
Do you think that had anything to do with the economy being shut down?
Unemployment rate never dropped in the 2s. Unemployment rate never. The lowest
it was 3 point something, 3.5.
Yeah, something. Yeah, 3.2 or 3.5. Yeah,
3.5. Yeah, that's what it was.
2 under Biden.
You got to understand. You can't.
Stop. I have a question. Do you know under Biden that they're hiring a lot more people in the federal government just to bolster the numbers of jobs? And a lot of times they'll have the jobs report like a month later or a couple weeks later. They'll say actually those numbers were incorrect. Did you know that?
Yeah. And the crime rates were too. The crime rates were also being fudged. Everything that they were doing in the media and during the Biden administration was to make him look good. They even made the media have talking cards. They were only allowed to call on certain people. We were not having freedom of press. There was so many things that were bad. And if you don't see that, then you just truly...
If we were having freedom of press, if we was having freedom of press, why have the Trump administration kicked out 3 media at the press pool?
I know because the Associated Press wanted to say the Gulf of Mexico when it is called the Gulf of America. It is not the Gulf of Mexico. It is the Gulf of America.
Because I call it the Gulf of Mexico. I never call it Gulf of America.
I haven't trusted the media.
It's the Gulf of Mexico.
Malcolm X told us in 66.
You know what I don't understand too? I could just say this real quick. Like, you guys are so the Democrats are so like everyone has a choice and they can be a man or a woman and all that. And then when Trump decides to change the name of something, you guys go crazy. Like, that's the same as being a transgender. Seriously, if you think about it, it's the same as being a transgender. And then also
Transformers. This is TikTok.
I don't understand.
Remember that?
How do you guys? How
And
do you
then
guys dislike transgender so much, but you
I don't dislike them. I
but
don't
you
dislike
have so many transgender people voting for Trump?
No,
No, I
okay,
don't.
okay.
I don't have anything
I don't have a
against
problem with
trans.
the transformers or the
You
transmission.
do, because you're talking about it.
No.
You do.
My issue with the ideology about it. It's not the
Yeah.
individual people. It's the whole
But you
idea.
accept they vote.
No, I'm just saying my point. It's not the people. It's their ideology. If you want to live your life as a woman and you're like born as a man, don't try to convince me force me to say that. Oh, this is an actual, genuine, 100% female.
Yeah, but it's a talking point for you.
But do you understand something? Can I say
It's
something
about
real quick?
blurring the lines, man. It's as simple as that. They make everybody the same so we can all fit in our little boxes the same
Right.
way. That's
Yeah,
what it's about, and
Because
that's why.
if I was
it's
a
going
business,
the way
if
it's
I was a
going.
business owner, I would only hire transgender women because you get men's strength at women's prices.
Right. That's a funny joke. That is so funny. That is so funny.
Let me stop. But like, I don't really,
No, but-
I don't really care one way or the other about the transgender thing. It's just the ideology about it. And then the part where they started trying to bring this stuff to the school, they were having schools where they were, instead of flying the American flag because America's bad, they were flying like the pride flag.
Yeah, and to add to that too, that you got to think about this. Like when they started that imaginary pronoun thing, that started making people go berserk on TikTok. Like people were losing their mind. Like, how do you make someone have to have a pronoun? Like in all honesty, that is just insane. And the thing that they're doing is creating a division. If you really can see under the layer, if you just take a peek under the layer, they're trying to make everything be chaotic so they can actually bring down America. They do not want to make America great. That's why Trump that's why Trump was saying that, because you got to realize Trump is privy to classified documents. He knows things that we don't know. He knows that they're trying to destroy this country. He knows about Soros, and he knows about what he's done and what these kind of people do. These Marxist people, they try to destroy countries from within by making us fight each other, by making us be confused.
So
Malcolm X was saying the
won't
same
consider
shit
the
in the
Koch brothers
70s,
part of
man,
that?
and nobody
You won't
learned
consider the
that.
Koch brothers a part of that?
Exactly.
Huh? You won't consider the NRA a part of that?
I don't really like the
The John
NRA.
Soros type people?
Bro, like, to be like me personally, I think we need to have get a lot of these rich people out of politics. You can't have like super mega donors. You can't have PACs and super PACs. The whole thing that say corporations are people too, I don't think that should be allowed. That's me.
Well, you
personally.
gotta understand, Menace. You gotta understand something though. You gotta understand the way this country is made now. The corporate America runs everything, and I do agree with you. Don't get me wrong, but the way that it's made now, if you don't have the money to pay for advertisement, if you don't have the money to pay for your like you said, the PAC. If you don't have money to pay for your PAC, like you're literally not gonna have a voice. You
Bro,
know,
I think at this day and age, with the development of social media and like stuff we have, we could spread our voice and spread our opinions a
I
lot
agree.
further than before without
That was
having
my-
to rely on like mega donors and corporate money.
I know. Listen, that's exactly my next point. My next point was to say that the way we have it now, like things like TikTok, things that are more free and allow you to talk to each other. But like I said before, the administration that was in here before was trying to eliminate things like this, allowing us the freedom to actually not need to have money to advertise or talk about our movement or whatever, and that was our strength. And yes, it's still here thanks to Trump. But
let's get back to the illusion of freedom. Like America is a corporation, okay?
Absolutely.
Your birth certificate
is traded on the
is
market.
an account number. Your
Yeah.
social security number is a routing number, and we are all livestock.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally know. I'm not trying to say it. Just I really know all that, and it's sad that a lot
George,
of
you're
people
starting
don't
to sound
know.
like a commie.
Yeah, he's actually he's telling the truth.
No,
though.
I'm a realist. That's,
Well, if you
that's my
listen-
fault.
No, if you listen to Bukele, like Bukele was attacked just like Trump, and he said the exact same thing about our Social Security and about the illusion of money too. The illusion of always being in debt and having to pay for the government and all that. Like when we can really just print the money, you know, like money is just fiat. You know what I mean? It's not, and us as livestock is a fact. It's a fact. Like every time we're born, we are actively traded on the stock market and everything. Like,
Hey, Matt, but can I ask you a question real quick, brother? If you don't mind.
you can ask me anything. I'm not against you.
This Doge thing that's going on, where they supposed to be going and find waste abuse, and fraud. And they supposed to find a couple $100 billion of
$2
of
trillion
this waste.
in like 2 years or so.
How much?
It was supposed to be.
They want to. Their target goes to cut $2 trillion in like the next, I believe, 2 years.
Yeah, that was their goal. But what was your question, Future?
Yes, I know that was their goal, to try to find $2 billion
No, trillion. But
$2 trillion for Trump tax law. Tax.
No, I don't think you know the whole fact. So the thing about it was,
well, that was what I want to ask you. What I want to ask you is that they went in there and found a couple $100 billion, and
no,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask a question. Go ahead.
And so far, out of $155 billion they supposedly found, that Elon Musk team and that business that's conducting this audit, this whatever this, they have charged the taxpayers $130 billion for it.
Yeah, that's false information. I know where you were going with that. That's not a fact. That is not true.
How did they charge the taxpayers?
No, that they've been the Democrats, the liberal media has been saying that for the last few weeks now. They've been saying that it costs. First of all, it doesn't cost anything because everyone in the Doge team is volunteers. They're not being paid to do it. And also, I don't know if you know, they're volunteering. And Trump, they're not being paid to do it. Yeah, I don't know if you know that. See, Trump, the guy that works for Trump, actually had a meeting with Elon before it even was created. And actually, Doge was just renamed, if you know the real history, because it was something that was created by Obama.
No, it was Bill Clinton.
Obama actually started it. Well, Bill Clinton started it.
Yeah, Bill Clinton had a thing where he was finding a whole bunch of people in the 90s.
Right, but Obama ran under it. When he was running for president, he ran talking about that. And it was just renamed to Doge, but it was always fraud. There was always a division created already. And like I said, everyone there is volunteers, so there is no pay. They're all businessmen that are taking time out of their business to help do this. And there's also people, there's a lady that is actually, I think she's deaf, and she does help that as well. Oh, is blind, I think, yeah, or something like that. And she helps out. And then, like a lot of people don't talk about this, but Trump actually, again, is not being paid to be the president. So it's just a lot of beautiful things happening in this country that you guys are not being told because of the media you listen to. But I do appreciate the question.
Well, I got a question. I got a question for you, Daggone Future. Do you believe that we should try to cut waste, fraud, and abuse? Like for example, a daggone Sesame Street for Afghanistan. Do you believe stuff like that we should try to cover in the federal budget?
No, I agree with you on that. If I knew this right here and I knew Biden was behind it before he became president, I wouldn't have voted for him. No way in the world.
So like
condoms to Great Britain, condoms to Russia, condoms to China. No, I never would agree with that.
Do you believe we should be sending billions and billions of dollars to daggone Israel and Ukraine?
I want to get Israel a ward off the ground. I wish and I pray that everybody they keep bullying over there get together and go in there and kick a little tail.
Yeah, see, that's not cool, man.
Netanyahu would not even open his mouth if the United States didn't back him. He'd have been out that office.
Future, can I ask you a question, Future, real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, just imagine for a second that you are in a fight with someone. Okay? And I keep helping you and that person keep getting back into the ring, right? And the whole time I keep helping you get into the ring, I'm selling tickets so that I can keep making money off of your suffering. Okay? That's the kind of thing that the Democrats are supporting because they are behind. They make money off of war. They make money off of their machines being sold to them, their weaponry, they get money off of the also the aftermath of when they have to do the reconstruction at the end of it all. When it's planned for the years down, that by law in every war you have to rebuild that country. You have to help build that. I don't know if you know that as well. And I don't know also if you do.
Keep saying Democrats, sir. I'm trying to think of what Democratic president that sent us to war.
Wait, what?
What Democratic president that sent U.S. troops to war?
Come on.
Obama actually unalived his own soldiers. Do you know that?
You talking about the kid that sided with the Taliban?
No. He drone
or a locker or something like that.
No, there's a drone attack he did. I don't know if I can talk on TikTok, but I don't know if you know he's the only president that ever actually sent a drone attack and it actually unalived American soldiers. But do you know that? No, you didn't know that.
There's one where he was like, it was a U.S. citizen, but they believed that he was part of the terrorist organization. You talking about that one? Or something?
No. There's actually 4 soldiers that were unalived by a drone attack that Obama did. Another thing that a lot of people don't know.
I never heard that, sir. I'm gonna look that up right quick.
Well, a lot of people don't know also, like I was trying to say, the MAGA movement is not the same as the Republican and Democrat. Okay, the Republicans, there's a lot of Republicans that are rhinos, Republicans in name only. And they actually are like Cheney's and all of those. Those guys, honestly, even Bush was a rhino.
No,
like these guys,
those are neocons. There's rhinos and neocons. There's different ones.
Well, they just want war. They just want war. They just want to make money off of it.
So you're not paying attention. It don't matter to you. He's just talking out his head when he said invading Panama, invading Greenland.
Oh, he never said invade anything.
Stop. The thing about Panama, China was starting to get control of the ports of Panama. Do you think that we should allow China to control the Panama Canal?
We built?
The Panama Canal was built by Americans, and it was given over. It was given over with paperwork and legal documents to the Panamanian.
But the contract ran out.
Why was China starting to get in control of it? They've been putting up signs in Chinese, bro. If China's getting in control of it, do you think that's good long term for America?
Sir, like I said,
Obama actually gave that to them. He gave the contract to protect it to China. He allowed that to happen. That was
like no one knows that. I'm glad you said that because I'm tired of arguing. Honestly.
Wait, quick question. We just asked someone new. What's up, JD? What's up? I'm just saying, JD. What's up?
What's happening? Yes. So don't forget about Mexico. They're building their own Panama Canal with trains.
Yeah, China is.
No, Mexico is.
I know that. That person down there, she about business.
Yeah, but I don't think you guys understand what's going on. Like, honestly, George got it right. But honestly, China is over there. They're over there in Mexico doing that. And honestly, the lady that's in charge in Mexico, I don't know if you saw the conspiracy on how she became president of Mexico.
Talking about Sheinbaum when they had about 30-something daggone officials that were killed by the cartel.
Yeah, do you guys not? Right. Does anybody see what's happening? Like, do you guys see? They tried to unalive Trump around the same time. They tried to unalive Trump around the same time, too.
Look,
like, literally a month later, they tried to unalive Trump.
When I was a young man...
trying to unalive Trump. What cartel?
Not the cartel, but there was 2 attempts on his life.
Okay, by Republican voters, rhinos,
no,
or whatever.
Republican voters. The kid wasn't even old enough to vote for Trump. What are you talking about?
He was 20 years old.
But he was in a lot of BlackRock videos.
No, if he was 20 years old at the time, if he was 20 years old at the time, by the time he was 18, he couldn't vote for Trump.
Sir, he was a registered Republican, sir. He was registered.
Bro, what does that mean?
First of all,
he was a Republican voter.
No, first of all, we can't say that. You can't say that. You can't even say that that's a fact because honestly, all of his social media and all of his information was just blacked out, and there was nothing to find. That shows you right there that there's some conspiracy with that. That everything that they gave you in the media that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you even believe that? All of his phone data and everything.
Another thing is. We don't know nothing about this dude. And during that same time, we couldn't have people stationed on the roof because of the slope. Like,
Right.
do you think this? Do
And we still
you
don't know
think this
anything
is
about
like
this
a
guy.
regular
Yeah,
situation that
exactly.
just happened?
Yeah,
Right, don't you?
that was a dangerous. That was like 20-degree pitch.
Bro,
Like,
see,
Yeah, I
We don't
know.
know
No,
anything
yo,
about the second guy either.
they would have held a
CNN
frisbee.
never.
I know. It would have held a frisbee.
CNN never ran a Trump campaign thing at all. The
Oh,
only
right.
time CNN televised the Trump campaign was
Was
that
that
particular
day.
day.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
Bro, like
Lord,
I'm not saying something. I'm not
You
saying
guys
something
have
was about to
all
happen,
this
but you're not gonna ask
evidence.
any questions. All
You
this
guys
stuff.
have all this evidence that the Democrats behind all this stuff, but none of y'all will bring none of this to court.
Well,
No, I don't say
None of
no.
y'all
I
will
got
file none of
no.
this.
Future,
All
do
these
you
are
not? Does that
hypotheticals.
not sound
These are
suspicious?
hypotheticals.
These are not hypothetical. No, he said. Wait a minute. He said the word hypothetical. I don't
it-
know how you can use the word hypothetical with facts.
Wait,
The
does
fact
any
is,
of this sound
Why
suspicious to
won't
you,
you bring
Future?
this to the court, sir? Why don't you file this in the court?
What do you mean file it in the courts? What does that
Sir,
actually
if you
mean?
have all this evidence and all this conspiracy theory,
I'm not saying this is not even conspiracy. This is literally what
The
happened.
Democrats been eating
I
up a
was on
lot
a
of
20-degree
conspiracy theories.
pitch.
No,
What
Future.
do
Listen.
you know that the
This is
FBI don't know, sir?
This
These
is
are facts.
literally what they said. The Secret Service said that they didn't have anyone stationed on the roof because of the daggone slope. That DI hire said that the person that was in charge of it, and they said that an officer went up the roof, saw the dude, and went back down. They also said that before the thing, that daggone thing, he was
yelling.
flying a drone around the area. Like none of this is suspicious to you. You don't have any questions about why was that going on?
And a lot of rally goers were telling the police, telling the Secret Service that they were there, that he was there before it happened. And then on top of that, his whole Secret Service was changed the day before. All of those people
Wasn't this dude in
were
a
changed.
BlackRock commercial?
Yes,
Yeah.
I said that he was in a BlackRock commercial. Absolutely.
Hey, listen, listen here.
No, I just know.
Listen,
Do you have any
now,
questions about what's going on at all?
No, he doesn't.
Folks, check this out. Listen here.
Go
Personally,
ahead.
Future is brainwashed.
I want to
Future
hear
is in a
Future.
cult.
I want to hear Future response. What's up,
hey,
Future?
host.
You're in a cult, man.
Personally, I think Donald Trump has hired the wrong people in his staff. All you guys
Absolutely.
could be in his staff putting together these theories that y'all are coming up with. Because the ones he
These are
got
not
from
theories. This is the reporting. This is what
These
they
ain't theories.
said.
These are facts.
This is the information.
These
This
are
is
facts.
the information that was reported. I'm not making. I will tell you when
How
I'm
do-
making up
how-
conspiracy theories. I will let
People
you
get
know.
upset
But
when
this is
you
literally
confuse
what was
with
reported
facts.
to us.
How can this be a theory if we are all saying the same thing and we don't know each other? Explain that.
I got
Because we
questions.
don't.
Why wasn't
Because
there
y'all
people?
have-
Why
y'all
wasn't
have
there
talked
people
to
on the
each other
roof?
about this already, sir. This
No, no.
already been discussed amongst y'all.
Why wasn't there somebody on that roof?
Why was there someone on roofs?
Why
I don't
was there
know.
no? Okay.
care.
You don't know that. Okay, I'll give you that. How come like people were seeing him fly a drone ahead of time and no one said any, like nothing happened?
If these people that saw him doing all this right here, saw him flying a drone suspiciously, they had the authority under law to contain, hold this person,
Well, that's
until the police got there. They had the right to do that.
Well, that would be
That's
common
not-
sense, but why didn't they?
That's the whole question.
But these
The question
was
is
MAGA voters, sir. These was MAGA voters.
No.
Another thing. CNN never televised anything from the Trump campaign except for that day. Explain that one for me. Just explain that one.
Yeah.
He's not, man. He's not.
CNN there, AP News, Breitbart, MSNBC.
How many rallies did Trump
And you know another thing.
If they're broadcasting Donald Trump talking on national TV, you know what I do? I turn the TV off.
I didn't
Yeah,
ask
well,
you
listen,
that. I asked you why did they never advertise that? Why they never play anything?
I can't answer that, sir.
You don't ask any questions about what happened during that day.
He
You don't have
doesn't.
any.
Like
you're
I
just-
said, like I said,
He
sir.
doesn't care. We're not
why
going to
this
get
kid-
anywhere.
Why this kid want to make attempt on Donald Trump? I don't know, but I think
No,
that
I'm going
was
to tell you. I'm going to tell you why.
I'm not saying I know
because you
why you
guys-
want to make an attempt. I'm just saying we have.
I know
there's
why.
questions that need to be asked, bro. That's all I'm saying.
I can tell you. I can tell Future why. The reason why that kid was doing that is the same reason why so many people still call him Smittler, because your media was making Trump out to be something that he's not, and making him demonized for years. And then you guys were also during that whole time running him through courts and believe it or not, that whole thing actually backfired. Pardon the pun. But honestly, it backfired because it made the whole country actually look to the right like he did and see that the right was the way to go. Because it made him a hero.
No,
And he
wait,
made-
wait, wait,
he
wait,
made
quick,
the
quick
most
thing. Yo, James,
iconic
what's up?
photograph.
Hey, man.
What's up?
What's like? What,
Is he trying to say it was staged?
It was the most iconic photograph you'll ever have by any president.
you trying to say I'm saying
Was
this
somebody
stage?
trying to in here saying it was fake? Yeah.
I'm not saying it was staged. I'm saying all these coincidences just happen to happen, and no one's gonna ask any questions about it. Like they're saying that it was too slow, so we couldn't put anyone up there. They're saying that
Menace.
they saw the dude climb up there. An officer got in contact with him and then went back down. Like no one, like y'all don't have any questions about it at all.
I think
You know, Menace. You know what the real kicker is? You know what the real
hit. I think it was a hit.
You know what the real kicker is, Menace? You know
What's up?
there's two kickers that are the major kickers to me. The number one is that BlackRock, like he said, he was in a commercial, but they also invested on his stock to crash. They invested. They did what do you call it? They put a short. Yeah, they put a big short on it, and then they demanded their money back when it didn't work out. And then on top of that, this is the other kicker to me, is that when they unalived him, all of a sudden all of his phones and all of his social media, everything was cleaned out, totally bleached out. Those two kickers right there tell me that it was an inside job and it was something to do with BlackRock and the liberal side. Because someone had to know, because CNN was there. Someone had to know.
I think that's very wrong when you putting out people like that right there, sir.
I'm not. If it was
in danger. When
no,
you
but
start-
listen. But if it was your party, if it was your president,
Sir, if it was Barack Obama,
no, if it was Kamala Harris, or
if someone hates him enough to go out and do that, sir,
No. Wait, check this out. You tell me this. They knew that guy was up there on the roof, but yet they allowed Trump to still go out there. How come?
because his Secret Service was changed on him, and those guys were compromised too.
They were compromised. DEI Secret Service at that time.
Yeah,
that girl
DEI
that was
was-
trying to put the gun away. Come on now.
Yes, they weren't even there to protect him. They were there to just take his body away. They were hoping he was going to be unalived.
That's right. They should have never let him go out there to speak.
Yeah, that like if you really look at the facts, like if it was one of the Democrats and this happened to them, they would still be talking about it because they talk about J6 like that was a real thing. That was another stage thing too.
But they don't
Like-
stop bringing up
What did the cop
J6.
say to the guy? Hey, that's a nice Barrett. What are you doing up here on the roof with that?
Yeah, like they don't shut up about J6 at all.
But I understand a cop go up
What
on
happened to Ray Epps?
there with a rifle.
Yeah, they don't talk. Well,
The cop
Ray
go
Epps
up
actually
the
gets
cop-
charged
with
now.
that
the
Barrett,
cop climb up on the building,
yeah?
see a kid with a rifle, and they say, "Oh, you just go ahead and mind your own business."
But
That
let me ask you a question. If I was to
You
go,
don't find that suspicious?
let me ask you a question. If I was to go in your house, Future, right? I was to go in your house and I was to steal everything from your house, and the police arrest me, and they don't find anything that I had in the bag. They can't give you anything back. They don't have any information, and all the police are outside saying, "Well, you know, we arrested him, but we don't have anything for you."
How can I fault you then, sir?
No, I'm just saying it's the same thing. It's like
How can I fault you?
how do
if-
you have no evidence on someone that literally lives on social media?
Bro, they
Like-
deleted his page, bro. Like, why was like every time something happens, like we find out everything about these individuals when they do some crazy thing. But certain times they will keep the person's information clean. When it's the a transmission that goes to school with them banks.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't know nothing about it. They keep their
Nope.
manifesto locked up. But if it's like someone that like okay. Like, come on, we know that individual did. They're like, oh, we're gonna put all his information out there. They have a whole dissertation about everything from the
Yeah.
day he was born. Like, they have all the stuff. But
Well, this
They immediately cleaned up the crime scene.
yeah, this goes back to my original.
Man, just tell me where can I get this
Yo,
wine?
hold on.
Bro,
This
you
goes
just
back.
Kool-Aid y'all drink. What
Hold on,
store can
Future.
I buy this in?
But
But that
Future,
was
hold on,
you
a second.
respect.
Hold on, Future. You're not even accepting a real statement. Like I'm saying to you, what if it was your party that happened to you? But again, like I said to you before, like this shows that they wanted to create a country that was gonna just be imploding from within. They brought all these gang members from Venezuela and all of this in this country. And that you can call me a conspiracy theorist, but they were trying to destroy this country. It seems they were letting people go in people's apartments and take over their apartment. Like there's so many things that I can list. It was the worst administration ever, and you guys want to sit there and say that Trump is worse than that? Anything Trump can do
You talk about a
is better than what happened.
Nobody living in that place until the Venezuelans got here.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm
I can't
not.
believe your mind works. I can't believe you wipe your butt.
What's the building not condemned? Was the building not condemned by the city?
You cannot deny the fact that under the Biden administration, more people came into this country than ever before.
Yeah.
I told these guys earlier, yes, I agree to that. And then let me tell you another thing that I totally disagree with. There's 21 million illegal immigrants here. That's the whole city of New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Dallas, Texas combined.
I got
21.
I got a question. What does that say?
Wow.
No, I'll let you finish. I just want to see what does that say. What does that say, right quick?
New body cam video shows. I can't see it all.
New body cam shows moments the police officer saw Trump shooter just before assassination attempt.
Yeah, that what the guy said earlier. That what Map said earlier. He walked up, he got a ladder, went up on top of the building.
That's not, bro. You read that and you don't find that suspicious at all. You don't have any questions like, wait. They saw this dude and no one did anything?
Right. That's a mighty fine Barrett you got out there. What's chambered in it?
I'm just saying, when this stuff happens, do you even ask the question about it?
That's what I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to learn that the liberal,
sir. Long as you're not pointing at me, I do not care for it.
Well, I'm just saying Future, you're not making sense. You're being a narcissist, man. You cannot.
Sir. If it's not pointing at you, or do you really do it?
What you're doing is just turning a blind eye, man. You don't
a blind eye, sir. Sir,
you're a terrible person, man. You're a terrible person.
Then, sir, according to you,
you're the kind of person that
let's not do personal attacks, y'all.
I'm not saying personal attacks, but he's being a narcissist. He doesn't care about
one guy like that with me because a guy like that does not have your back.
Yeah, he doesn't care about anyone but himself.
Y'all talking over each other.
Okay, but I'm just saying he doesn't care about any. I'm not trying to attack him. But he doesn't care about anyone but himself. And that's how most of these Democrats act. They only care about themselves. Like, they'll eat their own. They're literally cannibals. Like,
sir, okay, ma'am.
Yeah, they care about an agenda.
Ma'am.
A narrative.
I need my light bill paid next month. If you care about me, you'll send me $530.
No, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. I'm talking about having empathy. I'm talking about having empathy for people. I'm talking about empathy. I can feel bad for you for having a light bill without giving you the money. But you're talking about you don't care about people if they're not on your party, you don't care. That's not cool.
Map lost in your thoughts and prayers.
Are you joking, Map? You got to be really joking, don't it?
Yeah, I'll give you a check with my thoughts and prayers. Yeah, I'll give you a check with my thoughts.
That's what I'm saying. You got to be really joking.
You're an older gentleman.
For someone, right? I don't know how you think you know me.
Oh, let George talk for a second. I'm not attacking you.
I have a question for you, Future, honestly.
Hold on, Future. Let me just say this real quick. Future, I'm not trying to attack you, but I'm just saying to you honestly, you sound like a person that cares only about yourself. And George has something to say, so just think about what I just said. I do apologize. I'm a nice person. I really am. I've helped people that I've seen on the street having heart attacks, car accidents, all kind of things. I just stopped my car and help. I love people.
I care for 36 years of marriage and 4 kids, and all of them are grown, and all 4 of them work for a living. That's how much I care. Nobody.
God bless you.
Yeah, but
I respect that the institution, the Democrats are too busy attacking families and the institution of marriage too much.
And you know them 36 years of marriage, my wife never worked a job. Never. She never worked.
That's your wife, though. That's not. That's
Yeah,
not
but that's
someone you
a
don't know.
choice.
But
That's
I
a
don't
choice.
care though. Most men, like me, and according to him, wouldn't sit up and do nothing like that.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
Okay.
Yeah, but
He
that's
said, I don't
comparing
care.
apples to
He said, I don't
oranges.
care for nobody else but myself.
Bro, okay,
No,
okay.
no,
Hey, yo,
that's not
yo,
what
yo.
I.
Let's move on from this. Let's move on from
Let's
this.
move on. Let's
Actually,
move on.
to be
But
honest,
Yeah, let's get past it.
it's
you
like
just
1
don't care
o'clock for
about
me
anyone
right now.
out
Hey,
of
yo,
your
y'all
circle.
cool,
man.
y'all cool peoples. I'm about to close the live, but if y'all want to say something, go ahead and say it now. Hey, yo, we might disagree, but hey, yo, I still like to hear other people's opinion because, like, I still think we need to be still have some dialogue in America because if we stop talking, then the real crazy people get in control and shit.
Now, I have
Yeah,
a
I just
question
want
for
to say
Future real
thank you for
quick.
the live.
All right, you good, bro? You got anything you want to say, Future? Because you was the opposition for this time period.
I hope y'all have enough things in y'all pantry to get y'all through what we finna go through. I hope y'all got enough saved up and stored away because it's finna get rough on America. Because we got a fifth
Absolutely,
office.
I concur with that.
Okay.
And I have a question for you,
We
sir.
got a fifth grade in office that can't even run a set of crayons.
We're not gonna. I'm
guessing that you're
I'm not gonna
around my
reply
age.
because I need to go to sleep soon. I'm gonna just let that was like. If you come back tomorrow, I might be running it tomorrow, and I could reply to that. But I gotta go to sleep soon. Like, be real quick, y'all. Before
All right, thank you, host.
Future, I got a
Alrighty,
quick
bro.
question for you before you go. You seem like you're about my age. You're in your 50s, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who Malcolm X is?
Yeah, I know who Malcolm X was.
Have you ever read anything that he put out or watched the movie or anything?
Are you talking about the
Nope.
time when he said those conservatives might not be on our side, but them damn liberals are not on your side either? They're just crafty about it. They're just a little bit more sinister than the Republicans and stuff.
Could you name me one time Malcolm X came to the South? Can you name one time Malcolm X came to the South and spoke?
I could look it up for you. I don't know off the top of my
When he was
head.
in prison,
Never,
right?
he never. Let me do it for you.
When he
never
was
came
in
to
prison
the
there?
southern states. He never came to Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia. He never came to these states.
Did Malcolm?
When was there liberals? When was there liberals in the South when Malcolm X was speaking in the North?
It says
That
yes.
year-
They were
wait,
calling
stop.
him all kinds of nasty
Yes,
in the
wait,
40s,
quick thing.
everybody.
Yes, Malcolm X traveled to and worked in the South. He organized temples for the Nation of Islam in various cities, including the
Islam.
in the
Oh,
South.
wow.
He also made it to a trip to North Carolina and visited Charlotte. He accepted an invitation of invitation from the Student Nonviolent Coordination Committee to speak in Selma, Alabama. So he did go to the South.
Okay, then. So Muslim is the same ones that y'all can't, that the Republican Party can't stand. They rather side with a Jewish person than a Muslim person.
I rather side with
Oh.
neither. I rather side with
Wow.
Americans.
Wow. Okay, then let me say this right here, and I'll let you go, my man.
What's up?
Right now, the United States are helping Israel, which is a Jewish state, fight against Palestine. Is a Muslim state.
Do we not send them aid to Palestine?
Why would you send aid to a country when you have another?
We're literally funding both sides of the war.
But you paying one country to destroy.
I can
and
answer that.
One country to
I can
destroy.
answer
and
that.
one country to eat.
Bro,
That makes sense. Dude.
I'm gonna say this. You know what? I don't want to get on here and start defending Israel. Then people start saying, "Oh, you're pro-Israel." I don't care. I'm pro-American. I don't think we should be involved in any other country's BS.
Thank you.
Like,
Why do we
I
set
don't
up
want my tax
democracy?
dollar going over there.
I agree with you, big dog. 100%. We on the same page. I'm just saying. But if you're gonna attack a country and then they put the butt whooping on you, don't get mad.
Real
I
quick,
agree.
why do we set up democracies across the world when we ourselves are a constitutional republic?
We set
Because they're
democracy to
easy
keep
to
the
control.
U.S. dollar. We want to keep the U.S. dollar circulating around the world. It's all for economic interest. That's
Influence
the
in the
real
US
reason.
dollar.
Yes, sir.
But I gotta
Influence.
go.
You
I
are
gotta
correct,
go.
sir.
I
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me up and shut the live down. I don't want to bounce.
All right, then. Y'all
All
have
right,
a good
man.
night.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Send me a follow. I'm sending you one right now.
Okay, I got you, bro.